No white fish.
There's nothing in white fish?
Nope.
I got some bags of fruit.
I'm gonna go.
I could have sworn I know we ain't ate up all that fruit. Cause it's stuff to be blended. And I know I definitely didn't blend all of that already.
Kids get it.
I mean, I would have seen them eating it. I mean, Bella and Bree, they had a couple cups of blueberries over the last few days, but I didn't just have blueberries out there either. So check, it might be under something.
What do I see?
What's left of what they did to eat? At least of the blueberries. How is it a half a bag? Vinette, greetings, Ray. Hi. Key, hey girl, hey. Tanya Bumpberry, Grand Rising. Sis, let me grab my book.
Can't make nothing, bro.
It really, all of it is really gone.
Yo, I think my Oahspe is inside of my bucket inside of 9
You're gonna need to be making a trip. Well, shoot, y'all move in today, sis. Hey, you excited?
I ain't seen how shit they went made it effective while we was gone. So, like, all these different dates I could have went. I'm like, dang, bro. I ain't feeling how shit.
Where's my notebook? Hold on. I left my notebook upstairs. Kendra, Shalom, set apart. Hey, girl, hey. Hold on. I left my whole notebook. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Okay, I left my notebook that I normally use upstairs. I had it upstairs with me yesterday. I had to come double check myself. Listen, I'm gonna share something with y'all at the end of the video. Or I even took it back upstairs. I had to check and see where I put my you know how in the morning I do the daily words of Thanksgiving, like a different word. I had to get my notebook to double check which one I did for today, because on the Sabbath I was just kind of sitting, you know, after my little prayer, worship, and everything, you know, different words just kind of started coming to me. I was like, oh yeah, I can use that. You know, simple words that we all know, right? But then there was one particular word that was a play on words that came. I was like, yeah, that's right. So I looked up the definition of bow. I mean, clearly we know what it is, but I'll share the rest of it with you. All right, girl. When we get towards the end, after I repeat the same word but the different definition this time, then I tell you what happened yesterday. Okay. All right, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. It is September the 28th, 2022.
Right, y'all be safe out here.
All right, son. Have a great day. It is I forgot I got to change my ink in that one. Oh, faithful. You know what? I got a backup pen. I just don't want to throw these away, so I'm gonna change out the ink. I do have a brand new one. I bought a couple of them. Like I was like, oh, I love that pen. Let me get two just in case I used up the ink. And yesterday was the day that the ink ran out, right before we started, right? So I got my other one upstairs. I ain't pulled it out. Neither have I changed this one because I forgot. So I use the mermaid fan pen. It is day 224 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, and of the 4-year consecutive day count, we are at day 1242. Remember, that is those days consecutively and without the break of the Sabbath. The Sabbath days that we rested during this time are not included. If they were included, we'd definitely be in the 1,400 numbers because we've been here, well, almost 1,400, right? And it's 52 Sabbaths in a year, times 4 years. Yeah. All right, y'all. And today we are starting the book of Judgment. I'm excited about this. Hold on. Page 665. All right. Hold on, put some comics on my lips. Stephen. Peace, brother. Levon. Blessings. Shayla. Hey, girl. Hey. Did I say hey to Shayla already? I think I might have said hey to Shayla. Maybe not. Maybe I just looked at it and saw it. But anyway, Shayla. Hey, girl. Hey. Hannah. Peace and blessings. Anita. In the name of the Great Spirit, greetings. The Bronze Yoga Port. Bronze Yogi. Shalom. Shalom. Tikva, hey girl, hey. Nene, shalom, shalom. Over here on Facebook. And everybody else hanging out in the background. Jamia, shalom, sis. Hold on. Yes, Vinette. A couple people actually text me, and I seen a couple people actually post, and I'm not sure if Audrey here. Audrey actually took a picture. She said she walked out of house. She wasn't looking for it, but she walked out the house, and there it was. So she took a picture of it and she sent it to me. Thank you again for that, Audrey, if you're here. So I think it's pretty safe to say, because I went back and checked the list yesterday, because I still didn't see it. It was still cloudy. I went out there. I'm like, oh, why y'all be playing with these chemtrails? I can't see. So but yeah, so quite a few people gave updates, and just about everybody said that they saw it yesterday. Everybody that I normally check with, they saw it. They took pictures and everything. So I say it's safe to say we can call Tuesday, right? We can call it for Tuesday. Hold on. Right, because remember Monday when we were looking, even under the references they updated, the only place that they said they saw it was in Hawaii, and only two. I mean, I guess it only takes two to confirm, right? But we didn't see it anywhere else in the world, right? And then with the exception of Blacksburg, Virginia, but they said they couldn't see it without the help of binoculars, right? And we need to just be able to see it with our eyes, right? Without instruments, because you can blow it up, and with the binoculars are already zoomed in, like high frequency zoomed in, right? We need to be able to recognize it, everybody around the world, by the same thing. Everybody don't have binoculars, but everybody got eyes, right? Some people may be blind, but still you get the gist of what the creator was saying, right? Okay. All right, so Father, you are sound. And that sound is meaning in judgment. And I like how Creflo Dollar said everybody may not be they may not like Creflo, right? But I like his definition, right? Nothing missing, nothing broken. Everything in judgment is always whole, and it can be counted on at all times, right? Even when we can't see the details of any of what's going on, the creator's judgment is always sound, right? Okay. When do we observe the new moon? As in, do you mean observe the, hold on, because when you said that, I just thought about two different things. Venezuela saw it on Monday, but I think they were the only report. You know what? One of the first ones that I saw, they said they were expecting it to be seen in Venezuela, but I didn't even get the report from Venezuela. They didn't even update on Monday, at least from my resource. But it could have been. I don't know. Sometimes it's just clear in some places to where other places is not. I'm not sure. Miss Amazing Wonder, shalom. Mom, shalom, shalom. So new moon day would be, okay, so you spot the new moon. The day you spot the new moon is new moon day, right? It's like here, some people explain it different, But here's how it makes sense to me, right? So you have the end of the month that goes out, and the new moon always, counting wise, right? Counting wise, counting like the days of the sun and the moon. The new moon always shows on on the last day of the moon cycle that's about to go out, meaning when the moon shows the first sliver, she's only present for about 2 to 3 hours, and that's right after the sun goes down. So you should be looking towards the western sky, right? So as the sun is going down, the new moon will begin to phase in just a little bit, and she'll only stay present, like I said, for like 2 to 3 hours from what I've calculated, right? And she rises a little bit, then goes. I'll just say go back down, right? It'll go back down. She just goes away, right? But that lets you know, that's like our warning signal. Hey, begin your count tomorrow, because she showed at evening. So the next moon cycle, the first day of that next moon cycle, i.e., daylight, day one of daylight for that next moon cycle would be the day after the evening that we see the new moon slither. Did that make sense? I hope I didn't confuse anybody. So it's like we always get the warning when to begin your count the night before, right? The showing of the slither is the warning. Hey, begin your count for the Sabbath days to get your count right for the Sabbath tomorrow with the first day of light, right? Because the day the sliver shows is the last day of sun for the current moon cycle that's going out, right? Because you got days of sun. The sun shines every day. So every day of the year, every day of the moon cycle, you get sun, right? But the last day that the sun shows for the current moon cycle would be the warning day to let you know to begin your count for the Sabbath the very next day. I hope I ain't screw y'all up. But that makes sense to me in my head. Okay. Anita said, Selah Shalom. Peace. Oh, you saw it too? Shayla? Sweet. Okay. Anita said, Oahspe said that we are to celebrate the new moon for its or for her birthday, and the Creator will prosper us. You know what? I don't remember exactly where that was at, but I do remember reading over that. It's like towards the beginning when it was talked. I think when it was first talking about the sap, the moon's days, right? If somebody know that, put the reference. I know it's towards the front, right? That's when we was trying to figure out. Okay, the four is, let's call it the 4 days of the moon, or the 4 holy days of the moon. Which, by me studying and tracking the Sabbath, reading over and just kind of going through it, it kind of clicked. I'm like, oh, so the 4 holy days of the moon would be the 4 Sabbaths within the month, whereby you can see what the Sabbaths are if you understand the moon phases and what they look like. So I'd say at any given time throughout the month, if you get your count off, if you understand the phases of the moon and what they look like, your count shouldn't be off too much longer. Every week you got the opportunity to correct your count. At least that's from my experience and perspective from what I've studied. All right. I was told you see it tonight. Tomorrow is the celebration day. Yeah, okay. So if you say it like that, like I just did this long explanation. So it would be the first day when the sun actually shows. This would be the first day of light for this moon cycle, right? So it would be considered new moon day. New moon day, because when the moon first showed, when it shows to let us know that the new moon cycle is beginning, it's at an evening time, right? So that would technically be considered the first new moon night. And then the first day that we get sun would be day, right? So, because when you call it, yeah, people rejoicing, blowing the horns, hey, new moon, new moon, new moon, resounding it from every post, everybody is watching, right? All right, we'll celebrate it tomorrow when the sun come up, right? I mean, so yeah, technically, I done probably screwed y'all up a little bit more in trying to understand that, right? But in my head, that makes sense. Let me know if I screwed you up. I'll try to figure out a better way to explain that. Communicator, blessings, blessings. Okay, y'all, let's get started. Book of Judgment. Hold on. I need some water. I can feel it already. Say lie. I've been taking your bitters, man. Oh my gosh. Whew. I don't want to be disgusting up here, but they work. Hold on. Yeah. And they work super fast. I got to make sure I keep myself hydrated. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. If y'all ain't tried his bitters, I've only had like Yaki bitters. They work too. But when I ran out of his and I realized Selah is a master herbalist too, I'm gonna go ahead and support the brother, right? Because I'm getting my health under control. Tried them, I'm like, oh my gosh, for real, for real. I'm just saying, they worked a little bit. Look, listen, I ain't trying to say what works better, but with my body, his worked like a whole lot faster. And Yaki's work good too. They're really potent. But I noticed when I take Yaki's, I don't know, maybe I don't know. It's probably because when I started taking Yaki's, it was like the first time I ever had a bitter in my body. So all the sludge and all that stuff probably took a while to break through as it started, being released from my body. And so now when I take Salaz, it's just like that within like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, I was not expecting that, right? Because I was used to, okay, give it a 2 days, right? But now I'm just like, now that I think about it, I'm like, dang, it took 2 days for that to work. How bad was my body clogged up? And I've been plant-based, right? For at least, how old is Josiah? Just turned 10. For at least, I'll say, hold on, wait. I can't say 10 because I backslid when I was pregnant. And I started eating fish because I was having a craving for fish and hot sauce. So that was like 10 years ago. So I can say completely plant-based for 9 years, right? But apparently it's a, let's just call it old material that has been stuck somewhere that is, but yeah, it took like 2 days, but and I've done cycles of his bitters like Yaki's like 4 times, so it probably did all like the hard work to where I put Salaz in, like I said, 20-30 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad I was still close to the house. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, y'all, look, let's get started. Okay, the Book of Judgment, page 665. And so excuse me if I'm like sniffing and stuff. Like seriously, things are like draining, and it's good. Which bitters did I buy? I got the carbon C7. Yeah. Oh, okay. I guess it's a plug for Selah. Yeah, I'm telling y'all. The carbon C7, I got 3 of them. The carbon C7, the full body detox, and what's the other one? It's out in the garage. Let me just grab it real quick. Take me less than like 15 seconds. I'll show you. Hold on. Okay, it's the immune system booster, right? Okay, this is the full body detox, and this the immune system booster. Cause look, why this one already open? Let me tell you what I did. So I was like, oh snap, right? I'd be super excited when I get stuff. I was like, you know what? I wonder if I can take all of them together. So I decided to take these 2, right? It say take a cup. His dosage is a 3-ounce cup, right? 2 cups in the morning, 2 at night. So I was like, I can do this, right? So I was like, oh, they is nasty, but not too nasty, right? I can get his down a little bit faster than I can get y'all keys down. But I just, when I first started, right? So I started about a week ago. I ordered it before we went to Florida. I took it for 2 days. Then I realized I had better stop because we catching a plane in 2 days. So I stopped, and when we got back, I started taking it again. And so I took this and I took this, and I was like, it's herbs, so we can mix herbs together, right? Yeah, I don't know if that's why it sent me running to the bathroom in like 20, almost 30 minutes. But still, when I'm just taking the one, I'm about done with this. I'm gonna finish this today. I decided not to take them together, from my own personal experience. I just decided to just kill one bottle at a time. Right. So I finished that today. But they work. They work like sinuses draining, like stuff that I didn't know was still there. But like I said, I ain't trying to be gross up here, but if y'all was thinking about getting them, get them, right? Okay. All right. Okay, y'all. Book of Judgment. Thanks again, Selah. I appreciate it. Page 665, Book of Judgment. Being the grades and rates of mortals and angels in the light of God, as the word came to S, daughter of Jehovah. Remember, we just finished the book of S, daughter of Jehovah, yesterday. Okay, chapter 1. These are the words of judgment by the will of God, Jehovah's Son, as rendered by S for the resurrection of man. And after S, we have reference letter A. So let's pull my tab. Find a reference page for the book of judgment. Okay, so you hop over. I'm sorry. To page 700. Okay, on 700, A says, by reference to first part of Book of Being, we understand that S is a figurative term for spirit world. The teachings of this book correspond with the information received from the enlightened angels, and after angels is spirits, where they have communicated. I'm sorry, let me just read it over. Is wherever they have communicated. By reference to first part of Book of Being, we understand that S is a figurative term for spirit world. The teachings of this book correspond with the information received from enlightened angels, spirits, wherever they have communicated. 1882 edition. Okay, go back to page 665. Nazarene, faith is shalom, shalom. Okay. These are the words of judgment by the will of God, Jehovah's Son, as rendered by S for the resurrection of man. Hear the words of thy God, O man. I am thy elder brother of tens of thousands of years' experience. Profit thou in my wisdom and learn the discourse of thy God. Jehovah, creator of all things, spake to me, thy God, saying, give ear unto me, O God, my ambassador of the earth and her heavens for this thy season. Obey my mandates and teach mortals and the angels of thy lower heavens to know me and to rejoice in my creations. The time is now come when the light of thy inspiration and thy angels shall extend around the whole earth and in her heavens also. In all formal cycles, my gods had to deal with separate divisions of the earth. My revelations were unto each for a special time, which is now at hand. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I gotta get a napkin. Hold on. Okay. Verse 4, page 665. In former cycles, my gods had to deal with separate divisions of the earth. My revelations were unto each for a special time, which now is at hand. I have prepared this land untrammeled with gods and saviors and lords, enforced by the sword, so that my revelations of this day shall be published and not suppressed. And thou shalt reveal to mortals the plan of my worlds, and as to who thou art, and the method of thy inspiration and dominion on the earth and her heavenly kingdoms. Thou shalt keep open the gates of heaven for a season, and the spirits of the dead shall commune with mortals, good and evil, wise and foolish. And mortals shall see them and talk with them face to face, and they shall recognize their own kin, sons and daughters, fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters, the dead and the living. Verse 6. And the angels shall demonstrate the subtlety of corporal things and the capacity of one solid to pass through another solid uninjured. Yea, the angels shall bring from great distances heavy substances and cast them down in the presence of mortals, who shall see these things done and testify thereto. And man shall understand that even as plants and trees and fish and serpents can be wielded by my angels, so also can virus and pestilence be carried by angels of darkness to cast mortals into death. We learned a little bit about that. I forget which book it was in here, but it was talking about how when plagues and famines and stuff come, and how mortals' breath is inoculated with a stench, right? Yo. Verse 9. And thou shalt suffer evil spirits and all manner of druhas and vampires and engrafters to come and manifest unto mortals, that they may know whereof my revelations unfold the matters of earth and heaven. For man shall understand what I mean by the words, as ye live on the earth, so shall ye reap in heaven. And thou shalt suffer to fall in darkness such mortals as consult the angels in regard to riches, or to marriage, or to self, or for curiosity, or frivolity, or for anything of an earthly nature for profit's sake. They shall prosper for a season, but end in being confronted with folly and falsehood. Remember how I was telling y'all about the magic books that I had come across? And I was like, oh, shoot, this works. But more as I began to read through Oahspe and think about this stuff, I realized that the ending of those things, what it's leading you to, what it's doing is really, really gratifying your flesh, right? And it leads you, as I saw a pattern and just looking at things and testing it, I'm like, oh, this would end up taking me away from the creator, right? And that's when I decided, okay, I've done enough research and study on this. I see where this is going to, and it's taking me on a road away from him, which is not what I want, right? Because also with that, you learn how to do things that which is against the code of our creator, whereby we hurt our brothers and sisters. So if you're angry with somebody, there are things that you can do to them where nobody would know that you caused to happen to them with unseen forces, right? Some people will call it witchcraft, and it's a real thing, right? I'm like, yeah, see, this is wrong, right? Okay. Let me read this again. Verse 10. For man shall understand what I mean by the words, as ye live on the earth, so shall ye reap in heaven. And thou shalt suffer to fall in darkness such mortals as consult the angels in regard to riches, or to marriage, or to self, or for curiosity, or frivolity, or for anything of an earthly nature for profit's sake. They shall prosper for a season, but end in being confronted with folly and falsehood. And whoso asketh for the spirits of great men, suffer ye him to be deceived by Druhas and all manner of lying spirits, right? So when you open up this door and you start searching for this type of stuff, there is not a lack of spirits who would like to oblige your request, right? We can see with the false gods. Oh, who they like? They like Jesus. Oh, we're gonna be Jesus then, right? We got new character today. Everybody refer to me as Jesus as we go down here, and food is food. And I read 12 again. And whoso asketh for the spirits of great men, suffer ye him to be deceived by Druhas and all manner of lying spirits. And whoso asketh of the Sargis for great men, or Moses, or Jesus, or Christ, I should have just kept reading, right? Look. And whoso asketh of the Sargis for great men, or for Moses, or Jesus, or Christ, or for any, and this Christ is Kriste, which we know as Luamon, right? But it's been changed today to Christ with the CH, right? Still referring to the false God. And whoso asketh of the Sargis for great men, or for Moses, or Jesus, or Christ, or for any well-known name as applied to ancient times, suffer him to be answered by the evil spirits and deceivers. And this is what the Creator is speaking. Like the current God, true God, is speaking words of Jehovah about these matters. He said, I will allow it. Let them see it to the end, right? Listen, I'm going to read this again. And this is scary. We know that the Creator allows us to see out the foolishness till we come to the end of it, right? And sometimes when we get to the end of it, we wish we had to listen to wisdom many years ago. Listen. Verse 13, page 665. And whoso asketh of the Sargis for great men, or for Moses, or Jesus, or Christ, or for any well-known name as applied to ancient times, suffer him to be answered by evil spirits and deceivers. We also see this in First Kings as well, right? With the lying spirit in the mouths of the prophets. Whoso desireth the angels for profits' sake, and he have power in Sargis, give unto him a band of Druhas and vampires, and give them great power in signs and miracles. Which is why we have to be extremely careful about people that can perform signs and miracles. Okay, that what? And so what if you can do that? And whoso consulted the angels without regard to becoming a better man himself, suffer him also to become captive to lying spirits, right? Our Creator requires us to grow up. Quit asking for the cheat code. Stop asking the angels to help you get over on somebody and do this without developing your own self. That's what our Father is telling us. Develop your own self. And whoso consulted the angels without regard to becoming a better man himself, suffer him also to become captive to lying spirits. And to all men that feed on fish or flesh, suffer thou vampires to inhabit them. And to such as drink to drunkenness and smoke or take narcotics, suffer thou feeders and engrafters to come upon them. And in families whose heirs are born from parents wed for earthly considerations, suffer thou spirits of obsession to enter and drive them mad, right? You got riches, I got riches. Let's get together and make more riches, right? Earthly considerations or whatever it is, right? Everything that pertains to earthly things and why you decide to get married to somebody other than organic reasons, then building a family that's connected to the keynote, which is the Creator, to reproduce more righteous offspring to overflood the earth with the goodness of our Creator and people who are just like Him. We got problems. And in families whose heirs are born from parents wed for earthly considerations, suffer thou spirits of obsession to enter and drive them mad. But they shall be made to know the meaning of the word hell as applied to the lower heavens. Don't we know that to be the truth? And to whomsoever worshipeth gods or saviors because of miracles, give thou them plentiful of miracles and signs through unclean spirits and through mortal Sargis. Sargis is another word for mediums, right? And the Christian church will call them prophets, those who can get in tune and get a word from the Lord, or who understand some spiritual things whereby they know how to make it manifest here, right? Hold on. I just read it over. We're on page 666. Verse 20. And to whomsoever worshipeth gods or saviors because of miracles, give thou them plentifully of miracles and signs through unclean spirits and through mortal sargus, mediums of low grade. Yea, thou shalt let spirits of darkness assume to be these very gods, that mortals may be made to know what manner of evil spirits dwell in their churches and their temples. And to the rich man who maketh pretense to righteousness, but who doeth not toward the poor as to himself, give thou him a host of spirits of hypocrisy and lying, that he may realize the company he is preparing his own spirit for in heaven. Oh my gosh. Listen to this. Listen to this. I mean, not that you should be making a practice of lying and hypocrisy, but I'm just saying, if you understood what you were doing while you were doing this, you'd stop it post haste. Listen, and to the rich man who maketh pretense to righteousness, but who doeth not toward the poor as to himself, give thou him a host of spirits of hypocrisy and lying, that he may realize the company he is preparing his own spirit for in heaven. Give thou signs and miracles to the unclean seer, as well as to the clean, to the liar and deceiver, as well as to the truthful man. For I will destroy the worship of all gods and lords and saviors on the ground of miracles. And thou shalt take great liars and give them lying spirits to speak through them by inspiration and entrancement. And these spirits shall profess the names of great persons long since dead, and they shall manifest great oratory and wisdom and truth. But nevertheless, their preaching shall be of little avail for righteousness' sake or for good works. And we can easily tell the difference between two, right? If we can, listen, if we could, in the church, right? Okay, example. I don't think we'd be so taken and entranced if we were able to. I guess you have to do it in different ways depending on who's speaking, because some people have great oratory, right? And with their oratory, they're really animated. If you could just close your eyes, don't be entranced by the animation, right? Like what they do with these drug commercials, right? That you see people walking through the fields with flowers, the sun is shining just bright. They're walking with their loved one, talking, swinging, holding hands, and they're telling you about this new pill that they done concocted, right? And they say, oh, because they're trying to fool this while getting work. They're trying to bypass the guard on the left side of the brain to get this dumb information passed over to the right side of the brain that just pushed the button. Remember, the guard on watch in the right hemisphere of the brain. When information comes over there, it takes it as it being true, right? Because the guard on watch on the left side, he's very well trained. And if information get past him, it's not questioned by the right side. It just presses the button, right? Okay, you're happy. We happy today. We happy, right? But if the guard is giving information, we're sad, we're depressed, that's what's going to happen. It's going to press the buttons in the right side of the brain, and your body is going to reproduce whatever that is. And that information comes to the guard by the ear gates and the eye gates, right? So sometimes you got to close, depending on who you talking to or who you listening to, you may have to cut off the picture to hear the words and decipher what the truth really is or what's not being said, right? And sometimes there may be people who may not have good oratory, but they can explain through pictures whereby they're not as learned in the word. So sometimes it's like, I can't listen to them. They can't even get their words together. Sometimes you may just need to just cut the sound off and just pay attention to what they're trying to show, right? Because our spirits can perceive truth when we come across it, right? So you just got to use wisdom in that and what you're listening to and what you're seeing, right? So the world knows, Hollywood knows, those makers of commercial understand how to get past or how to hypnotize guard on watch in the left hemisphere of the brain, right? Because the left hemisphere of the brain receives the information, dissects it, and pass on what it deems to be good for what you've been constantly ingesting and taking in through here and here, right? And possibly other holes too that enter into your body. Those are considered gates, no matter what it is, right? So if it gets through over here, this side is not even going to question, and it's going to just, your life is going to take on what you're around, what you're constantly putting into yourself, right? Listen, hold on. And I said all that because of verse 24, where the people who preach, what they're preaching to you and what they're teaching, even though they're putting on like a good show and all this stuff, it leads to nothing. If you will take everything of what they're giving you and base, let me see the words. If you would take it and really dissect it and take it and try and apply it to your life, it avails to little. Like, it's not helping you get close to the creator. It's like it's not really doing anything to help you grow. That's the better words. It's not doing anything to help you grow, right? A lot of people just here to put on a show to look good, and they know how to slide real good in the pulpit. They come dressed all nice to the, what you said, dressed to the, what's that saying? Dressed to the whatever. You dress to the T. That's no, not well, no, it's no, well, it's another term. But anyway, y'all get what I'm saying, right? They come to put on a show, but nothing that they're giving you other than this good eye show and eye candy is helping you get close to the creator, right? And anybody before you should be helping you grow. We don't need to constantly hear and see all the flashy and all this stuff. Tell me how to get to my creator, because when all this is over, that give me something of substance that I can apply that's going to help me when I leave here, right? Thank you. That's what I was looking for, Mom. Dressed to the nines. That's what I was looking for. I just saw, believe it or not, I just saw that the other day. I don't know. I guess it's been around for a while, right? But that was the first time I had ever heard that term. I'm like, dressed to the nines. I was like, that's pretty cool saying. All right, but yeah, let me read this again. Verse 24. And thou shalt take great liars and give them lying spirits to speak through them by inspiration and entrancement. And these spirits shall profess the names of great persons long since dead, and they shall manifest great oratory and wisdom and truth, but nevertheless their preaching shall be of little avail for righteousness' sake or for good works. It's a license plate for your bike, Isaiah. Verse 25, and their applauding audiences will not contribute to the poor, nor found any improvement on the doctrines of the ancients. For the spirits who speak through them shall be the first resurrection, and not know me, nor the higher kingdoms. Barely shall they be the same, barely shall they be of the same order as the spirits who minister in the churches and temples, being such spirits as have not yet been delivered up from the earth. Wow. And a lot of those in the church is taking information for them when they don't know none more than what they know, right? Because that first heaven, that first resurrection, it's still a bunch of earthly wisdom, because you're still denying the creator at that level.
Look,
yes.
The boy's saying this. You need exercise. Then said, I calling you fat. No, I'm not.
Okay, Tootie. Why would you pulling up the old pictures, my before and after pictures? Bye, girl. Lord have mercy. I let her get on my iPad, so when we're working out, I take before and after pictures. First of all, you shouldn't even be showing them. Why are you even in my pictures, sis? See, that's why I forgot about my little stuff I'm tracking. Girl, go put my iPad back in my room. Okay, listen. Okay. Verse 26. For the spirits who speak through them shall be the first resurrection, and know not me, nor the higher kingdoms. Verily shall they be of the same order as the spirits who minister in the churches and temples, being such spirits as have not yet been delivered up from the earth. And some shall say, Hear thou me, for I am God. Some shall say, Hear thou me, for I am the Lord. Some shall say, Hear thou me, for I am Jehovah. And others shall profess the names of mortals who had great powers on the earth. Suffer thou them to do these things. Verse 28, For I will make man understand that he shall accept nothing from angels or men because of the name professed, on the merit only of wisdom and truth, and such good doctrines as raise men up out of darkness and poverty and crime shall they accept either spoken or written words. And they shall try to organize and carry out good works, but they shall fail. For many would desire to be leaders, being under the influence of selfish considerations, desiring the applause of men. Go upstairs. All of you. Go. Get out of there. What's the problem? Tootie, go upstairs. You can grab an apple until I get started. Hold on, because we ain't about to do this. Girl, go. Do you want me to slice it? Well, you're going to have to wait, Tootie. Go upstairs. Do you want me to slice it? Because everything else I'm going to have to cook. I'm live, y'all. Go back upstairs. Go. Yes. Yes, I know, girl. I'm so excited. Okay.
I've seen the outside of the house, but not the inside.
Okay, very good. Well, you're going to see the inside of y'all house today. Go on upstairs till your mama get you ready. Okay. Says you want to follow her? My sister closing on her house today, y'all. So one of her daughters came down here. I'm Pam. We get to moving out. We're moving out. We get to move in our house today. I'm like, I'm so excited. Alicia, you here? It's all in love, sis. Listen, let me get back to this. Verse 29, page 666. And they shall try to organize to carry out good works, but they shall fail. For many will desire to be leaders under the influence of selfish considerations, desiring the applause of men. And they will profess freedom, but they will not pledge themselves to any sacrifice, either of money or opinion, for sake of the public good. And little good shall come out of their works, and even less peace of soul shall come unto them, for they shall dispute and quarrel, being divided in all their ideas and philosophies and sentiments, and in their understanding of my kingdoms. For by this means shalt thou show them they are under the inspiration of the unorganized S world and of spirits who have not yet entered into my resurrections. Yes, that is for Dad. You know what? I'll give you a blueberry one. Have a seat. Excuse me 1 second. I just said I was going to give you a blueberry. Oh, you want a strawberry? All right, girl. I ain't got time to be arguing with you this morning. All right, go to the table. I'm sorry. Verse 32. For by this means shalt thou show them they are under the inspiration of the unorganized S world and of spirits who have not yet entered into my resurrections, which I created for them. But in the time of the light of my revelations, thou shalt raise up a few here and there, capable of the all light. Remember, all light meaning you are connected to the Creator. You can hear directly from the Creator without a middleman whatsoever, right? Not even Jesus, directly. We don't need a bridge to our Creator. We can communicate directly, right? And towards the end of days, it will be a lot of us, right? Which is why I said there will be no need for saviors and gods and false lords and all that stuff, because we can commune directly with our Creator, which in before time, in previous eras of life, man needed somebody to help him understand who his Creator was. Simply, and we understand that if we understand life and understand the Creator and understand the phases, that we go through in life, we'll understand that Earth overall goes through those same processes. Everything that the Father teaches us, we can see everywhere in nature, even in our household. I said many times, even children, when they come, we're kind of like their mediator, right? And we're helping them till they become of age, and they no longer need us. They may consult with us, get wisdom from us. What would you do in this situation? But now it's incumbent upon you that you walk this road out directly with the creator yourself as you grow, right? You no longer need to be under my teaching, my rule, right? When you were a child, we taught you like a child, we fed you as a child, you understood as a child. But now that you're older, right? Now you can do things on your own. Your childish ways are put away, and you begin to take on the role of somebody learned, right? You begin to do the same things that your savior taught you to do, i.e., your father and your mother, while you were growing, when you were underage, when you were still under their tutelage, right? This is what this is saying. Some people, they just don't seem to understand that. What? Put Jesus, what are you talking about? That's blasphemy. We ain't hearing nothing. You're antichrist. I'm like, sheesh. Still childish ways, I see. Okay. Let me read this again. Verse 32. For by this means shalt thou show them they are under the inspiration of the unorganized S world, and of spirits who have not yet entered into my resurrections, which I created for them. But in the time of the light of my revelations, thou shalt raise up a few here and there capable of the all light, and these thou shalt cause to form a basis for my kingdom on earth. And they shall forswear all gods and lords and saviors, but profess me, the great spirit, Jehovah. And they shall pledge themselves unto one another in fullness as brothers and sisters, holding their possessions in common, to live for the sake of perfecting themselves and others in spirit and for good works. They shall eat not fish nor flesh of any creature that breathe the breath of life, and keep the seventh day as a day of communion with me and my angel hosts, with rites and ceremonies explanatory of all the doctrines in the world, practicing good for evil, non-resistance to persecution. Non-resistance to persecution and abuse, and abjure war, even if necessary, by submitting to death rather than take part therein. And we'll learn a little bit about why, right? Peace and love always wins out in the end. I'm coming to see that a little bit more day by day. But they shall not go about preaching for sinners to go to repentance. Well, the Christians ain't heard that part. But they shall not go about preaching for sinners to go to repentance, nor preaching for charity to the poor, but they shall go themselves about gathering up sinners and the poor and helpless and orphans, and bring them into comfortable homes, teaching them how to live, to be a glory unto me and my kingdom. Yo, this just hit me in a whole new light, what this just said. Listen. Oh my gosh. Listen. This is literally what the church is based on. This is what we see. They're always trying to save the lost. You need to give your heart to Jesus, brother. You need to get saved. The Father loves you so much. Let me lay my hands on you and pray for you, right? Sometimes that's needed, right? I mean, sometimes you just feel like you need somebody to pray with you. Okay. I ain't got no problems with that, right? But this is where we get into the tyranny and the undercover lifestyles of people and some leaders in church, right? And if the leaders doing it, most of the congregation is doing it too. You're not practicing what you preach. Instead of building churches to tell people they need to come to Jesus, come to the altar, come to the Father, give your life to the Lord, my sister, and your life will get better. Right? No, you're going to turn them into twice the son of hell as you are. That's what's about to happen here. Now you got a whole bunch of mouthing prophets and people and congregation members out here trying to preach to the lost, but ain't nobody showing them the lifestyle of righteousness. Like, don't come talk to me until I can see your life lines up with what you're trying to tell me to do. Is what you're telling me to do not good? It's not good enough for you to do as well? Then give me what you think is good. I won't what you practicing, right? Because if you're not even practicing this and you telling me this is good, if I don't see you must be doing something higher. Is this like the lowest level? Because I don't see you doing this. Because I help me understand this, right? Listen, this is what Christians do all day long. They preaching at you, hollering at you, condemning you to hell if you don't turn your life over to Christ, right? But what are they doing? Half of them putting on the show, figuring out what they're going to wear to come tell you to give your life to Christ. Hold on, let me change the color. Oh, we got a new suit for today. Hold on, styling. Hey, up here. I'm so beautiful. And man, I look at it. You know, I'm like, who is this clown? I get such hearty laughs daily by looking at different people. Think not that you listen, not that you shouldn't look nice and be presentable, but you get what I'm saying. Some people do too much, and it's like, who are you presenting? All right,
You
babe,
wake me
love
up,
you.
I'm late.
I kissed you like I always do. I lay a kiss upon you to awaken you from your sweet sleep, dear husband.
I told you. You should have woke me up this morning.
Give me another kiss. Don't lick me. Oh, you can lick me.
No.
Y'all, he throws a fit.
Because I don't like to be licked. I'm not.
Then why you just do it to me?
I was just joking.
And live in front of a studio audience. No, move. All right. I'm gonna go to the warehouse and start separating this product. Well, I need to put my eyes on. I'm gonna put my eyes on and I'm gonna verify all the pieces. Cause you okay. All right. You gotta love them, right? I do. Okay, let's get back to this. But y'all get this right. Christians are doing, I ain't gonna say all of them, not all of them, because all of them are not there. There are some ones off up in the cut that's like us, right? Like we really are trying to live a life that's dedicated to the Father. It's like we're trying to see our way through all the garbage that's happening. And that's what it was like for me. It's like all the garbage. And I'm coming across people and you start hanging out with what you think are like-minded brothers and sisters. And then you find out it's like, wait, you doing this type of stuff? And it's like, ooh, who did I like? What you portray is not what you, and I'm not with that, right? I've always been really transparent. Like if I make mistakes, I'm like, look, I ain't perfect. Let me tell y'all the foolishness that I done did, right? My heart is really pure towards the Father. I'm not trying to like put on a show or anything like that. But some people, it's just like they're raised this way to put on a show, and it's like you can't really tell what's genuine coming from them, or if they just saying this because they think this is the thing to say to be a part of this group. And I'm just like, that's why I've really kind of been like a loner off to myself, really, because I don't want to attach myself to something that is like that's not right, that your true intents are not really to be after the Father and just be a good representative of him on the earth, right? Auntie, shalom, sis, shalom. BC, shalom. I like that what you just said. Resembling the false God kingdoms on earth as it is in heaven. That's what they doing. Although they think they walking in the truth, some of them they really not. They're just as blind as they want to be and don't even realize it yet, right? But I ain't taking no shots against them because I used to really be there. So I'm just to the foolishness. And sometimes you don't really see the foolishness for real until you actually get involved with the work of the ministry. That's when you get to see the behind the scenes and some of the lifestyles of your so-called leaders. And it begins to raise questions, right? And I'm like, I would never be disrespectful, but I know Shebrew, Stevie Wonder can see better than them, right? And it's like we'll slowly just back away because whatever is happening here at the head, it's going to filter down to the families, and we fight hard enough to keep our family together. We don't need doctrines of men and all this garbage filtering into our house when we got enough against us, right? Which is why we've done it a few times in life. When we see stuff is headed to hell in a handbasket, we will politely honorably bow out and take our children and go about our way, because we got too many things we fighting with. We don't need to take on y'all shenanigans and be fighting against this, right? Because churches, they should be bringing families together, but sometimes it's been the main source of contention and splitting families apart, especially between husband and wife, because for some strange reason women tend to get attached to their preacher, and the husband is like, hold on, woman, you my wife, you listen to this man. That is not cool. It is really not cool. And I know a couple families who have split because of that very thing. They're no longer married. Families destroyed. It's sad, and my heart weeps because of that. I'm like, Father, may it never be. May it never be. Right. So I'll bounce things off my husband all the time. Like, y'all see me joking, and I know Paul said it, and when I be saying it, I be trying to be fun, but like, oh, let me go ask my husband first, right? Knowing I don't have to do that, but out of respect and honor, because we are on the same page, right? And I will, just out of honor and respect for one another, but he will also do the same thing with me as well. Like, listen, my husband like, babe, I want to purchase. I'm like, babe, why are you even asking me, can you purchase this from Amazon? Because I be clicking away. He said, and that's a problem, Pamela Murphy, right? But it'd be small things, right? But y'all get what I'm saying. Clearly, if it's bigger things, we'll come to one another. But even in the smallest things, babe, what you think about this, right? Because if that line of communication, if that harmony is broken between the husband and the wife, you're going to see the outcome in the family, the children. And if it stays broken, you're going to start seeing it in your community, because you putting a broken product out there in the street, right? And now you got broken pieces breaking more pieces who are probably also broken, right? So we do the best we can to keep our family together and keep strife out of our house, right? That is our main thing, which is why you come through our house, you see family, love, everything all the way around here, right? There's freedom in this household. We talk to all of these things, right? If people would learn how to do that within a home, they wouldn't need to be out there. Turn your heart to Christ, sister, because you don't know, today could be your last day. Come on, let's just repeat after me the sinner's prayer, right? Like, we wouldn't need to do that crap. We would not need to do that if we got it together in our own house and we just went out there and lived it. That people would see. We shouldn't even have to open our mouth to say anything. The light that comes from our life, they should not only be able to see, but be able to feel it and be like, sis, what are you doing? Tell me what you're doing. Like, and that, though, help me to be free. I sense of free. Like, seriously, it should draw other people. You shouldn't be out there knocking on doors. Jehovah's Witness, we hear Christians for Christ, Crusaders for Christ. Hey, have you repented today? Y'all, I got so many crazy stories about this. Being out with groups of people going to do this. I was like, I don't want to be a part of this crap. And now look, and I be start sliding away from them. I'm like, I don't want to be recognized as one of them. When they say this name, I don't want my face to even pop up in none of their thoughts. We have got to get away. We ain't doing this crap, because we run from people like you. We see y'all circling the block. Everybody cut the lights off, get down. Doorbell ring, you better not say nothing. Turn off all the TVs, everything, right? And we go upstairs to a side window and watch you and laugh and talk about you and see how many people open their doors for you. I don't want to be lumped with them, because we have so much fun doing that. That makes for great family memories. Oh, I'm a heathen. According to Christians, right? But I'm not really. When I got the strength, oh, bruh, y'all should have seen. This is right before we moved out. The Mormons that came. I think I shared that with y'all. I gotta find that video. I think I told you the story, but I'm gonna get through this. The Mormons that came to the door. Boy, I had time for them that day. Me and we had just got done doing the morning video. My husband said, "You want to talk to them today?" I was like, you know what? I surely will talk to them today. We had already started reading Oahspe too, bruh. And they was just like, so I started hitting them with a couple things about Joseph Smith, and they looked like they was fresh into their into their little cult, whatever you want to call it, right? They was fresh into learning about Joseph Smith. Boy, them boys was there sweating like, you know what? And you know, Mormons, the Mormon, what do you call it? The guy, what do you call them? The missionaries, the Mormon missionaries. They don't never want to leave your porch. When they say, you know what, we got a few more houses we have to hit. It's been great talking to you. When they are saying, sis, we gotta go, you know, you done got on their last nerve. It's like, you know what, we giving them over to Satan too. There's no hope for this house. We gotta go for they drag us into their mess. But here's the thing: the younger boy was listening, and he started looking at the guy. So some of the questions I was asking him, and he said, "Oh, I'm new. Can you answer that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, we got one." It's something to make you think. I'm just like Dan Calloway said, I'm just here to make you think, right? Wake up, brother. Wake up, sister. Listen, okay. Y'all so thick. Shalom, shalom. Well, I ain't gonna repeat that, but that scene from next Friday, I know what you're talking about. Y'all got to be on Facebook to see what he said. Look, that's funny. I can't repeat that. Okay, y'all, let's go back to this. Who we at? Oh my gosh, we already an hour. Hold up, listen. We stopped at 43. We got off on this because of verse 43. Listen, but they shall not go about preaching for sinners to go to repentance, nor preaching for charity to the poor, but they shall go themselves about gathering up sinners and the poor and helpless and orphans, and bring them into comfortable homes, teaching them how to live, to be a glory unto me and my kingdoms, right? Preach by action of your own life and what you're doing. Give them an example to follow. Tickle, you came to see what he said. I saw you pop in on Facebook. Look, oh, I love y'all. Look, hold on. Stephen said, a while back, I was cutting grass. I saw them jokers walking across the street. And took that lawnmower and put it in the garage and locked the door. Let me tell you something. Look, they will mess up your whole day. Like, he said he was out there cutting the grass. Saw him, he cut off the lawnmower, put it up, going right in the house. Right? That's funny. They kept knocking and I kept laughing. Yo, listen, I'm telling you, this is amazing. You gotta love life and its growth cycles and the journey. I think what's most important, but I enjoy it the most, is the journey of growing and understanding the foolishness and the craziness we've been caught up in. The process of the Father opening our eyes, us actually looking at it and be like, man, how could I have been so foolish to fall into this? Right? And then
He said he was.
Go ahead. I gotta go to the store. I'm gonna grab Dad another one. Go ahead. Go ahead. Y'all need to be quiet though, right? But it's about the journey and growth. If you get growth out of your journey, which you should, that's the whole point of it all, growing closer to the Father. And in your growth, you help your brothers and sisters grow closer to the Father as well and excel in spiritual understanding so we can rise higher and higher, even when we put our flesh back in the dirt, right? Our spirit should be at such high raised levels that we bypass the first resurrection and we go right into the second, right? Because the first resurrection, all the activity, which church calls demonic activity, is on 100 all the time here. We feel it and we know they're there, and they own nothing but shenanigans, all of them. Right, but we can raise higher, and when we depart from the flesh, we can actually raise higher than that level, as most of us here already know. I know, right? Look, oh my life. Look, Vinette said, "Thank you, sis, for this awesome studying and medicine of laughter." That's all I know how to do, right? When I get scared, I laugh about stuff. When I learn how foolish I've been, I just laugh because I learned if we can laugh, it's still hope for me, right? because I can learn to laugh at my own mistakes and not be so hard on others and point my finger at them like I'm better than them. Nope, sis, I was worse than you, right? Like I should have been dead a long time ago. I thank the Father for the mercy that he's had on me to allow me to even be here and be even saying this, even to confess to you my sins to the brethren and sisterin, right? Listen, I'm so grateful. I do not take it lightly. Listen, let's finish reading. Verse 43, page 666. But they shall not go about preaching for sinners to go to repentance, nor preaching for charity to the poor. But they shall go themselves about gathering up sinners and the poor and helpless and orphans, and bring them into comfortable homes, teaching them how to live, to be a glory unto me and my kingdoms. To such persons shall my angels from the second resurrection come. Thank you. Clean it up, you trash can. And spray that with some bleach spray. And clean it off. And verse 46. To such persons shall my angels from the second resurrection come and minister in my name for the joy of the earth. Right? So the angels, all those that you want talking to you from the Creator's kingdom, high raised angels, great, they above the second heaven and above. Anybody from the first resurrection, first heaven coming to talk to you, you had better ignore them. Right? Or ignore them, find out what they saying, and completely do the opposite of the information they're giving you, because they leading you off a cliff. And if anybody been there, you know what I'm talking about. Listen. Get back. I ain't done yet, y'all.
Mom, guess what?
What?
Jordan is watching your video.
She is upstairs?
Yup.
Oh, okay. Well, enjoy, sis. Listen. My little niece is watching me. She told me when they before they had came here, she said, Aunt Pam, when we were at the hotel, somebody was watching your video. I'm like, really? Other than family? She said, yes. Somebody out in the parking lot had your video on watching you. And I heard your voice and I heard you laughing. I was like, oh, that's amazing. I'm like, oh, snap. And that was out Hampton. I'm like, oh, snap. Right? I'm like, okay. But that was her. She's upstairs. How old is Jordan?
9.
Jordan is 9 years old. Listen. Okay. Verse 46. I know I just read that like 15 times. To such, y'all, I'm almost done. Can y'all like be quiet? If y'all gonna eat that, just sit over there at the table and be quiet. To such persons shall my angels from the second resurrection come and minister in my name for the joy of the earth. And when such people die, they shall be received into the second resurrection, escaping the first. I like that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, go ahead. Sit to the table. Sit them on the table. Y'all grab some napkins and y'all can eat it. No more than 2 apiece. Neither shall any other people in all the world. Yeah, I know, son. It's the rules changed last night after you asked. He like, oh, I answered some of that last night. Yeah, I promise you I'm gonna get through this. Okay, verse 48. Neither shall any other people in all the world escape the place of the first. Let me go back up. I'm sorry. Let's do 47. And when such people die, they shall be received into the second resurrection, escaping the first. Neither shall any other people in all the world escape the place of the first resurrection, be they kings or queens, or beggars or Brahmins, or Buddhists or Christians, or Mohammedans, or any other pretenders in heaven or earth. Behold, the day of preaching and profession is at an end. I will have practice only. He said, shut up all the talking and be what you're talking about. I will have, that's what our Creator said. He said, I will have practice only. Right? No wonder why things were hid from us for so long. Just keep on talking. Yeah, keep preaching to people. Talk to them real good. Bruh. Y'all talking yourself right into hotter. Whoso, let me read it again. Verse 50. Yes, everybody can have 2 apiece. All right. 2 apiece. Bella, you already had one? Okay. So Jordan, you can get 2. It'll be 1 left, and that last one is left for Bella.
No, Josh.
Oh, you know what? Josh didn't have one. So leave that Leave that last one for Josh. You know, yeah, it would have been even. Yep. Grab one. Grab one. They're about to argue about this. I didn't even realize he had it. Okay, listen. Guys, I need y'all to calm down, okay? I'm still live. Bella, that means you too. Bella, don't get another one. Let Josh get it. Josh didn't get one. That's what I said. Go. And when such people die, they shall be received into the second resurrection, escaping the first. Meaning people who actually practice what they're learning from the Creator, not just talking about it, they're actually walking in righteousness. When you do that, you bypass the first resurrection, and angels, Yahuwah's hosts, come, they wait for you at death to make sure you bypass the first resurrection to get to the second. And when such people die, they shall be received into the second resurrection, escaping the first. Neither shall any other people in all the world escape the place of the first resurrection, be they kings or queens, or beggars or Brahmins, or Buddhists or Christians, or Mohammedans, or any other pretenders in heaven or earth. Behold, the day of preaching and profession is at an end. This means hush. Y'all hear that? That don't mean get louder. Behold, the day of preaching and professions is at an end. I will have practice only. Whoso is not in my organic kingdoms on earth shall go into my inorganic kingdoms in heaven. Like unto like created I the heavens and the earth and all things therein. Oh yeah. We had an hour and 16 minutes and we only got through one chapter. Let's read 2, then we'll pause. Y'all, as soon as y'all done with that, I need y'all to go upstairs. I didn't realize I was going to be talking as much as I did throughout the first chapter. But we got to read the second one. Listen, you got to go to work. This is recorded. Come back later, right? Don't you go render unto Caesar what belongs unto Caesar, right? Chapter 2. It's just good for me that we actually, I ain't slouching around all day. We actually run our own business and I carve out time for this. And I'm up normally working late. So, all right. Cut it off before I get feedback. Turn it off. If y'all gonna watch it, take it upstairs and watch me. Chapter 2, page 666. God, ambassador of Jehovah, said, ye shall assemble for the communion of angels regularly and maintain intercourse with them. Intercourse means communication, not sexually what we think about at first sometimes we hear the word intercourse. Intercourse as in conversation, right? And if you keep on reading it, you will see that this is what that means. God, ambassador of Jehovah, saith, ye shall assemble for the communication of angels regularly and maintain intercourse with them. For in no other way can ye demonstrate the continued life of the Spirit. And after Spirit is reference number 1. And down at the bottom of page 667, it says, demonstrate the immortality of the soul. So I read the whole verse again. God, ambassador of Jehovah, saith, ye shall assemble for the communion of angels regularly and maintain intercourse with them. For in no other way can ye demonstrate the continued life of the Spirit. Doing this in the name of Jehovah and for spiritual light. Doing this in the name of Jehovah and for spiritual light in regard to spiritual things. Whoso consulteth the spirits for earthly things shall fall into darkness, right? So you seeking angels for money, all this other stuff, other than getting close to the Creator and spiritual growth and developing yourself and information to help your family develop and people to grow spiritually, to move up, because this flesh is temporal, but the spirit is eternal, right? The spirit, we're born here to develop our spirits. This is just the first phase of life. Anything other than that, than consulting with the angels, other than developing our spirits to get closer and higher to the Creator, you fall into darkness. And that's proven here. Case in point, over and over, every single day. Doing this in the name of Jehovah and for spiritual light in regard to spiritual things. Whoso consulteth the spirits for earthly things shall fall in darkness. But when ye assemble, let no man nor spirit be as a spectator to others, but as all men labor in the field to gather the harvest, so shall all members in the assembly by prayer or by music contribute a glory unto the Father, remembering that the humblest prayer, even with weak words, if given with a full heart, is as strong unto Jehovah as the best oratory. From all men the Spirit shall pour forth unto the Father in praise, according to what hath been created unto it. Neither is more required of any man. But this shall happen unto many, learning to speak by entrancement or by inspiration. They shall imagine themselves controlled by certain angels, when in fact it is only their own spirit eliminated from the corporal senses. Excuse me. This we can also test, right? This we can also test. Those of you who have practiced praying in tongues, right? That's one way to do it. Meditation. If you was to sit in one sitting, you would have to sit for a suspended period. I'm not a suspended, an extended period of time to get to that point. I know when I pray in tongues, it takes about, and it's different, just depending on how I prepared myself throughout the day. If I'm gonna sit and pray long, if I prepare myself with worship, just tuning my spirit to the Creator, and that's one way to really tune your spirit to the Creator. Find the right frequency, right? Find the right frequency, find the right radio station, attune to that. Get on his frequency, and when you start praying, you actually begin to feel the heavenly presence. You'll feel the presence of the Father, or however you want to term it. And then your spiritual gifts will, in your prayer time, your spiritual gifts will begin to unfold. They'll begin to open, like you begin to hear in the spirit. You'll begin to see visions. And for me, when I prepared myself, say I've started my morning in worship, put on worship music, and just make sure I'm just, if I know I'm gonna do like an all-nighter prayer, I'll prepare myself. I've noticed just by practice, testing different things, I prepare myself with worship music, so that way I'm already tuning myself, so it happens a whole lot faster when I pray, right? So when I began to pray, my spiritual, like I was telling my son, like when I do the all nights of prayer, I can literally see what's going to happen the next day. Like I can see it, like a picture unfolds. Like I'll have my eyes open and I'll see it, right? That's what's kept us out of a lot of business misdealings with certain people, because I'll see things. I'm like, babe, we might not want to do that. And when it first started happening, my husband didn't believe me till he went and did it anyway. And then what I saw happened, and we lost the biggest contract we had ever had at that time, which was bringing in, at that time, it was 2010. This one client was bringing in like $350,000 profit for our company at that time. We lost them, but we were already warned, and I told my husband about it. So now, because my gift is a little bit stronger at this point with that, when I see something, he's learned to listen, right? We learn by the things we suffer. So I know how to turn it on. I know if I need to get an answer, I know what I need to, like if it's urgent, I know exactly what I need to do. And I know how to, I've developed myself where I know when I go into prayer how to get an answer. Not, you know how sometimes you pray, okay, I haven't prayed for this and this, but there are certain levels of dedication. Like the answer is there. You just have to tune yourself to that frequency. Just like radio waves are always everywhere, right? But it takes a tuner in your vehicle or your phone to tune to a certain station, a wave that's already moving all the time in the air. You tune it to that, and voila, you get the desired result. You get the information, music. I want to listen to country today. Well, do you know the country radio frequency? Tune to that, right? And you get what you're looking for. You just have to learn how to tune yourself to the Creator if you want to answer for him. Otherwise, I mean, you will get answers, but you're going to need to test that to see if it comes from the Creator. You went to the wrong station. Nope. I can look at you and tell you went to the wrong station, right? Listen. Hold on. Verse 6, page 667. Let me read 5 because it was so good. Remembering let's just go back to 4. Listen. But when ye assemble, let no man nor spirit be as a spectator to others, but as all men labor in the field to gather the harvest, so shall all members in the assembly by prayer or by music contribute a glory unto the Father. Remembering that the humblest prayer, even with weak words, is given with a full heart, is as strong unto Jehovah as the best oratory. From all men, from all men, the Spirit shall pour forth unto the Father in praise, according to what hath been created unto it. Neither is more required of any man, but this shall happen unto many. Learning to speak by entrancement or by inspiration, they shall imagine themselves controlled by angels, when in fact it is only their own spirit eliminated from the corporal senses, right? You can train yourself and you can get closer and closer, right? Because the angels are nothing more than one-time humans who have already given their flesh back to the dirt. They'll continue raising, helping us, and that's what happens at the next level. Just like we see it here, we have parents helping the newborn spirits grow. That's simply what our ashars are. They're kind of like parents to us, helping us grow and develop. But one rule of the spirit is to teach us and inspire us through visions and dreams, right? Audibly, if you're developed enough where you can hear audibly and you can see visually, even with your eyes open, you can see with your eye, your internal, your spiritual eye. And they help us develop there. But you also have to be developing your flesh, or subduing your flesh, so you can tune yourself, right? And this is the flesh is the biggest inhibitor of spiritual things if you let it run you. You need to control the horse. You need to get your dog on a leash under control. You, the owner, i.e., your spirit, should be driving this. Your spirit should be driving your flesh, not the other way around. But right now, the world is upside down. We're here to turn it right side back up, right? We're spirits who are living in fleshly bodies. This is the first level of school for us, right? And then we are born, we are fully born when we surrender this flesh back to the dirt. But this shall happen unto many. Learning to speak by entrancement or by inspiration, they shall imagine themselves controlled by certain angels, when in fact it is only their own spirit eliminated from the corporal senses. Others, being influenced, shall imagine it is themselves and not an angel, whereas it is an angel speaking through them. This was the case of Caillou. Both are good and shall be practiced. Let no man concern himself as to whether it be the spirit of himself or an angel, for it is only the subject, uttered, which is of value. Let me read that again. Oh, okay. Listen. Just like, snap. Listen to this. Let me read it again, and then I'm gonna tell you what just came to mind. Oh, this has been like a big debate, like for the last few weeks. Listen, Selah, you still here? Look. Let no man concern himself as to whether it be the spirit of himself or an angel, for it is only the subject uttered which is of value. In this day, all things shall stand on their own merit and not on a supposed authority. You know how they trying to run John Newborough's name through the mud? Let's look at this man instead of looking at the information that was presented. Boom, right there, highlighted. Listen, and that's what Selah be trying to tell him. That's what we be trying to tell him. Okay, we know this man ain't perfect, right? But the information is what we should be weighing. The information should be tested. Yo, this is amazing. Test the information, right? Even Christianity, the book that y'all don't follow. I mean, not y'all, but people hanging out in the background. Not even y'all know sometimes y'all working. I be joking. But seriously, it tells you to test everything, right? And a lot of people, they think that means just test the person who's giving it, not the person who's giving it, because you could be flawed. Like me, I'll be giving y'all information. Sometimes like, oh, you know, when I had said this, I just found out I was wrong. But none of y'all would know that if y'all not going to check behind me, right? So it's good that you're checking behind me, but also checking into the information that I'm presenting to you. Oh, well, she definitely must have made a mistake there, because this here, and we test this, this is probably what we meant. We'll ask her. And if she didn't know, she'll be all the more wiser. She can sharpen herself. I can sharpen myself, and I correct what I misunderstood, right? And that's all what we're simply trying to tell people. Test the information. Let it stand on its own merit. If after you read it, you think it's garbage, none of it, then that's your choice. You can do away with it. If others read it, we can test the merit. We can clearly see, okay, well, that's good. I may not agree with this, but definitely this, we're testing the merit. We're testing the merit of things and not the person who presents it, right? Granted, it's always good that the person who presents it is actually living it, right? That's just icing on the top of the cake. But sometimes I don't need icing on my cake. Just give me the cake. Sometimes the icing is a little too sweet for me. Yeah, but this, I can deal with this and take this apply this to my life, right? Page 667, verse 9. Let no man concern himself as to whether it be the spirit of himself or an angel, for it is only the subject uttereth which is of value. In this day, all things shall stand on their own merit and not on a supposed authority. Oh, let me put an asterisk in the four corners of this page, because I know I'm going to come back to this, and I got to be able to find it quick, because I haven't memorized where everything is at, but I can memorize and catch the marks on the corners of my books. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm into the tab here too. Hold on. I'll put on merit. I just put merit so I can see. That's good all day long. Okay. And that's with anything, not just with this, but everything. Angela, shalom, shalom. You can, BC, right? You can learn something from everyone. I learn from my children every day, right? I mean, they full of shenanigans, but there are some things, like some things you can learn from children. Because if they get into an argument and they fight, and they could even get into a fist fight, wrestling on the ground, we got to break them up. But a few minutes later, I love you so much. They walking, holding hands. Only if we were that fast to forgive one another and just squash everything and act like nothing ever happened, not even hold grudges or anything. Those things we can learn from children. Things like that, the innocence at heart, right? Those things they are priceless. Okay, let me read this one more time and we'll keep going, because it's what? It's 31 verses, we're on 9. Let no man concern himself as to whether it be the spirit of himself or an angel, for it is only the subject uttered which is of value. In this day, all things shall stand on their own merit and not on a supposed authority. And let not him who speaketh with his own spirit judge others to be the same, nor yet the reverse of this, for no two in all the world are alike. To them that have not experienced elimination of the spirit self from the corporal self, and it has trance, or that would be like if you have an out of body experience. Some of us, you know how to induce that like at will. Some people think you can't do that. That's of the devil. If you do that, you ain't supposed to make that happen. I'm telling you, we're here to be developing our spirits, and you can, even so much so that the government does it all the time. They have a set group of soldiers that they train how to do this, because we were created to do this, and they have it down to the T, the science, to whereby they're stealing secrets from other governments by being able to do this. I'm telling you, the Father created us all this way. Listen. To them, verse 11, to them that have not experienced elimination of the spirit self from the corporal self, trance, all speech is believed to be of the corporal senses only, or of a disease I'm sorry. Let me start over. I'm getting tongue tied. Hold on. Young Lord, shalom. Got it? Okay.
Man, I love you, man.
Love you too, son. To them that have not experienced elimination of the spirit self from the corporal self, trance, all speech is believed to be of the corporal senses only, or of a diseased condition. Such men are not to be blamed for their interpretation. Rather, ye shall pity them and not answer them. Like we can see some people even talking about Oahspe and John Newborough. Don't even answer them. They should be pitied, right? That's why I ask. When I listen to some people, I'm like, I wonder, do you guys have any kind of spiritual experiences whatsoever whereby you can test the spirit of things? And that's what it blows me away. Because listen to them, it's like they look at things only with the natural eyes and they're trying to figure it out from the fleshly, earthly standpoint, like the spirit doesn't play any part of this. And we can clearly tell if we actually read the information, we can clearly tell there is a spirit portion to all of this, right? Because it's a lot on developing the spirit, and that we're not finding in the Bible. It alludes to certain things, but the next level of growth you find here, there's more information here on how to develop the spirit to get you closer to the Creator, where you can test and actually find yourself closer to the Creator, and your ears are becoming clear and open. It's like, listen, I'm gonna just read it again. That speaks for itself. To them that have not experienced elimination of the self, of the spirit self from the corporal self, trance, all speech is believed to be of the corporal senses only, or of a diseased condition. Such men are not to be blamed for their interpretation. Rather shall ye pity them and not answer them. For many such, even after death, will not admit that they are dead because of the darkness upon them. And you talking about being the most miserable of all men. You won't even accept the fact that you dead. I ain't dead. Spirits, people hang around their dead bodies, still not believing that they're dead, trying to talk to you. Hey, don't you hear me talk? Ain't nobody hearing you. You are not on our radio waves, on our frequency anymore, my G. We ain't even tuned. The people you're trying to get in contact with don't even know how to tune into your frequency to even hear you, right? For many such, even after death, will not admit they are dead because of the darkness upon them. It is wiser for the spiritual minded to keep to themselves, especially when communing with Jehovah and his angels. For a greater wonder than these will follow. Some will enter the trance of the first resurrection and go in spirit out of the body, but only subjectively. Others will enter the trance of the second resurrection and go in spirit out of the body objectively. And the first shall not believe, but the second was like himself, going only subjectively. No two men in all the world have I created alike, saith Jehovah. Even many after death are not capable of entering the second resurrection objectively. And I forget which page. This actually explains what it means by subjectively and objectively. If somebody here remembers that page, please share it, and I'll go back and I'll read it while we're here. Like I said, I just don't remember where it is. I can tell you anything in the Bible. I haven't got so skilled yet with Oahspe yet, so I need your help. Okay, let's see. No two men in all the world have I created alike, said Jehovah. Even many after death are not capable of entering the second resurrection objectively. He that is in subjective state speaketh and writeth from the earth, looking upward. This kind of really sums it up right here. Okay. All right. Listen. Even many after death are not capable of entering the second resurrection objectively. He that is in subjective state speaketh and writeth from the earth, looking upward. He that cometh of the objective heavens speaketh and writeth as one come down from my kingdoms to the earth. Okay, so subjective means you can only see things from the earthly flesh standpoint. Objectively, meaning you're in spirit and you can see beyond the flesh, right? Like when you have visions or dreams and you're able to interpret them, or you can go in prayer or tap in and find out what's happening. That's objectively from the spirit. You're seeing from a higher viewpoint down, right? Okay, I read that one more time. We'll keep going. He that is in subjective state speaketh and writeth from the earth, looking upward. He that cometh of the objective heavens speaketh and writeth as one come down from my kingdoms to the earth. Two conditions will manifest. Subjective spiritualists will affiliate with the world's people, being deniers of the ever-present person. We know that the ever-present person is our Father, the Creator. A lot of us term him Yahuwah or Yah, Jah, whatever. We talking about the same Father. Listen, two conditions will manifest. Subjective spiritualists will affiliate with the world's people, being deniers of the ever-present person or denying the Creator, and they will pursue earthly avocations for self's sake. But objective spiritualists, and after objective spiritualists, it has reference number 2, and at the bottom it says spiritualists, being such as live for spirit's sake, will be faithists. Okay, let me go back up and read it over. And I'll keep going through this time. Two conditions will manifest. Subjective spiritualists will affiliate with the world's people, being deniers of the ever-present person, and they will pursue earthly avocations for self's sake. But objective spiritualists will be faithists, believers in the ever-present person, Jehovah, whom they will worship not only in words, but by abjuring self and uniting themselves in brotherhoods for the sake of doing good unto others. These latter are the chosen people of the Father of the Cosmon era, and they will become supreme in all the world. The Creator's children are taken over. Verse 15. These three peoples, the world's people, the believers, and the faithists, have been in all ages of the world. The latter only of them all practiceth harmony and good works. Both of the others are resistants, quarrelers, and warriors, and disintegrators and breakers down of all things. Yet the faithists, having faith in the all person, which is also a name for the Creator, the ever present, the all person, our Creator. Yet the faithists, having faith in the all person, shall ultimately possess the whole earth and make it a paradise of peace and love. As the first is bound in the flesh, and as the second is bound by the Hadan spirits, so is the faith is bound unto Jehovah, which is emancipation or freedom, right? Those who bind themselves to the Creator bind themselves to freedom forever. And he don't hold us in bondage to anything. He lets us see matters through so we can see and get a good lesson on why we shouldn't go this way and why this is definitely the best road to take, because it leads to freedom in all things, right? Freedom in your mind, freedom in being able to choose for yourself, the freedom to weigh out things, even things people say you shouldn't touch, don't even look into that. He gives us the freedom. Go test it. You know, like don't touch that stove. Don't touch the stove, Johnny. It's hot. Well, I'm gonna touch the stove, Mom, to see if it's really hot. Oh, it's hot. The Father gives us freedom. He ain't setting up gates around the stove, although sometimes we do that with the smaller children to prevent them from hurting themselves. But it comes a certain period of time where you just have to let them explore, because that's how we learn, right? Oh, tick for page 195. I know, son, I'm almost done. Hold on. I'm gonna read it. Hold on. Let me do this. But it kind of gave us a summation of the objective and subjective, but I said I was gonna read it, so let's go to it real quick. 195. Verses 2 to 3. We definitely talk about, hold on. Fragapati at the top. Okay, because this is where the books are split. We got the book of Fragapati, Son of Jehovah at the top, and at the bottom, the book of God's word. So definitely you're talking about the book of Fragapati, chapter 21, verses 2 through 3, which is on page 195 if you got Big Blue. Thank you, set apart. Yep. I got a number. Go ahead. You can have some. Yeah. Okay. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me. Let's do this. Let's come back to this because I want to reread this whole chapter. Okay. Let's pause. I'm not going to read it yet. Let's finish reading this chapter and we're going to come back because I want to read the whole thing over. I love the book of Fragapati. Okay, listen. Okay. So go back to page 667, verse 17. As the first is bound in the flesh, and as the second is bound by the Hadan spirits, so is the faith is bound unto Jehovah, which is emancipation. As the second can commune with the spirits of the first resurrection, so can the faith is commune with the Father through the second resurrection. Nevertheless, this shall happen. The second shall say, my angels are high, thine are low. Or they shall ask, how know ye your light is higher than ours? And the faithless shall answer them, saying, we know no high, no low. We give up all things in order to serve Jehovah by doing good works unto our fellows. And Jehovah shall judge betwixt them as to which is high or low, not by their words, but by their works. And the signs of good works and self-abnegation shall be as a witness before the world, whence cometh the inspiration of each. So we can see that here. And that the Father wouldn't do any less, right? Us speaking good, nice words. Even women probably know this the best. Like, especially if you're dealing with shenaniganizing fellows, right? Shenaniganizing men. Maybe not just men, but also women too, right? People talk so much. It's like the boy who cried wolf. We sick of listening to your words. Like, you always talking, you saying you're gonna do better, but we never see the proof of your actions, right? I'm sick of the talking. Too much talking of the words. I'm plugging my ears, right? Let's see the actions. The Father the same way. He judges based on our works, because you can only hold up the farce for so long. Yeah. I like something one of my pastors said quite a few years ago when we was still actively going to church. And he was actually talking to the young women, because we had young couples in the church, right? And he knew there was with some of them had some shenaniganizing fellows that they had attached themselves to, right? Some of them was engaged, some were already married, but to the ones who had not already tied the knot, they said he told everybody, he said, they can only keep up the act for so long. He said, if they can do it longer than a year, right? If they nice and they take you out to done all the stuff, you know how you do when you courting somebody. If they can do that longer than a year, then it's probably really them. It's probably truly in their heart. That's probably who they truly are, right? Because if their motives are other than pure towards you, the time will be the time will be the test, right? So don't be going like giving them all your cookies and cakes and stuff early on, right? See if they can hold out for the cookies and cakes. If they asking you, they constantly pressing you about coming to get some cookies from your cookie jar, right? We're adults here, we know what cookies from the cookie jar mean, right? There's children around me. Use your imagination, right? So if they're constantly begging for cookies out of your cookie jar, right, then it's probably the only thing that they're after, right? You know, you got somebody solid if they can, if they stand the test of time, right? Because they're gonna get tired of faking for so long, and then it's like, you know what, you ain't easy to pray. I need somebody else because I need to fulfill my lust and thirst for sweetness right now, and you ain't giving to me what I want, so I'm gonna go get some cookies from somewhere else. Thank you very much, right? And bless y'all when they go searching for cookies from somewhere else when you have not attached yourself to them jokers yet, right? Because that might have been all that they wanted was some cookies from you, right? Don't give away your cookies, ladies. Don't give away your cookies for free, right? You want to share your cookies with somebody who really has what's the word? An appreciation for cookies, right? Cookies that are kept fresh. Y'all get it? Cookies that are kept fresh, not stale cookies, right? Don't nobody want no stale cookies. Listen. Okay. But yeah, he said the whole point of saying that was he said people can't fake things for too long. If somebody is doing it day in and day out, it's probably who they truly are. You can really see the heart of that person based on how they live, which is why works is such a big thing with our creator. Let's get going. Let's get you consistent in doing something, right? Let's get you consistent, which is why we're tested on our works, which also it helps you understand something with the people who took you captive and want to pull the wool over your eyes with religion. Oh, you can't just get in the kingdom with works, right? You're right. It shouldn't just be. But when your works are lining up, your words should line up with your works, right? Sometimes we're able to fool people like these drug commercials showing you one thing but secretly living another, right? Your outside life and your inside life should line up. They should jive together where they're both saying the same thing. Well, we don't get mixed signals. From these drug commercials, we get mixed signals. You walking through this field of flowers, the sun is shining, it's so bright, and you're walking with your loved one, you're breathing, la, 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 I love you so much. But down at the bottom, this drug could cause losing your eyesight, lack of hearing, you might die tomorrow. And also, you're going to lose your toe. Your right fingernail is going to fall off. This is going to turn black. You're going to have to get a hysterectomy. And they say it real fast, put it real tiny print. That's what happens when your life and your actions, what you speak and what you do, don't line up. You're giving us the same type of commercial the government drug pushers are trying to push on people. They're trying to hypnotize the guard on the left side of the brain, right? Stay away from them type of people. Time will tell if they're really true, right? Pay attention, people. All right, look, if y'all got to go to work, dumb farmer, right? But if y'all got to go to work, go ahead and get out of here. I know I'm taking a little bit longer, but if you got to go to work, go to work. I'm recorded. Come back later. Don't blame me for being late to work, y'all. Because I create what time I go to work. So, all right, let me hurry up. I'm sorry. All right, listen. Verse 17. As the first is bound in the flesh. Hold on. Pick some higher. Oh, I went up too far. Okay, listen. Verse 20. And Jehovah shall judge betwixt them as to which is high or low, not by their words, but by their works. And the sign of good works and self-abnegation shall be as a witness before the world, whence cometh the inspiration of each. Let no man say that only seers and prophets and such persons as work signs and miracles are under the influence of spirits. For even as much as these, so are other mortals under the dominion of spirits. Yea, the infidel, the disbeliever, the philosopher, the lawyer, the judge, the preacher, the fanatic, and all others are more controlled by the spirits of the dead than by their own personal spirit. And that I know to be the truth. And the more a man's spirit is wrapped up in his own corporality, the more he is subject to vampires and spirits of darkness. Neither knoweth the philosopher whether his ideas come from Jehovah or from the spirits of the dead. Because we can, when you can't figure that out, we know you haven't been sharpening your spirit when you can't tell your right hand from your left, right? You don't know if the Father's speaking or somebody that just know a little bit more spiritual things than you do. Yes, ma'am.
I don't have that information for the wire.
The wire though.
Maybe. So I can go to the federal and do my part.
They ain't sent it to you?
Not yet.
Go to the email that I sent that I copied you in and look at my receipt. But my receipt is the name of the bank, all the information you need, the beneficiary bank. You're welcome. Okay. Verse 23, page 667. Neither knoweth the philosopher whether his ideas come from Jehovah or from the spirits of the dead. Whosoever hath witnessed and knoweth of a truth that he hath seen the spirits of the dead, that knowledge is impregnable. And whoso hath entered the second resurrection, even though in mortality, that knowledge is impregnable. But whoso hath found the all person, or the creator, his knowledge is greater than all, and none below him can judge him. Neither can any man attain to this knowledge till he hath passed through the other two conditions. Verse 26, page 668. No man knoweth the creator unless he hath proven the communication of spirits. And a lot of people don't know if granddaddy talking to them that died 15 years ago or grandmama that just died 4 years ago. You think it's the creator. No, it's your shenanigans and kinfolk. But you can't tell yet. You haven't developed your spirit to be able to decipher between the spirits, right? No man knoweth the creator, and they tell, listen, I sure hope Christianity get it together. Would at least start teaching you how to do this, right? It's still hopeful. No man knoweth the creator unless he hath proven the communication of spirits. Neither can any man rise to the second resurrection till he hath risen to faith in the all one Jehovah. Neither shall the Brahmin, nor Mohammedan, nor Buddhist, nor Christian join in the second resurrection on earth or in heaven, right? If you are labeled as that, you won't even get to the second heaven, right? Not at this point, because when you die, you can go right to the Hadean communities. Some Christians call that hell, right? You might want to get a little smart about what's really happening here. Okay, so after second resurrection is reference letter B. We almost done with this, y'all. We almost done. So hop to page 700. Reference letter B says, in this context, second resurrection means coming together in an organic community to work in unity. Yes.
It's Diana. Okay, I just don't want to leave you. You gotta go.
Oh no, go handle what you need to do, sis.
Hurry up.
In this context, second resurrection means coming together in an organic community to work in unity of purpose for the common good, whether that endeavor occurs among mortals on earth or spirits in heaven. Apparently, the requirement of faith in an all person being requisite to entering the second resurrection as expressed in verse 26 was modified from earlier policies. See Book of Divinity, chapter 5, verses 10 through 11. Okay, let's look at that real quick. Book of Divinity. Ooh, I flipped right to it. Well, one page before, it was chapter 4. I was about to go to the table of contents, but I just grabbed it. Okay, hold on. Verse 10 through 11. Okay, 10 through 11 says, it's on page 243 at the top right side. If he doth not yet comprehend faith in the all person, he shall be granted freedom to all the places where he hath served, and he shall be emancipated from all lords and gods, and from all labor and education, and honorably discharged to pursue whatever he desireth in any place in heaven or earth. Oh, I remember this. This was talking about what happens to non-believers and how people develop into false gods and false lords and stuff. This is that. Okay. Within the Divine laws. Okay. Nor shall the lords nor gods take more notice of him than due respect and honor. Whereupon Div, son of all light, spake, saying, this also shall be part and parcel of the Divine law, which is to say, of the latter class rise the false gods and false lords that oft set up kingdoms of their own in atmosphere. They shall not rise above the second resurrection. And now, did it say read 12 too? It said 10 through 11. But 12 is just as good. Let me read 12. The voice of Jehovah came to God, saying, without the disbeliever in spirits, mortals could not find courage to smite serpents. Without false gods and false lords, The Lord's Druhas would never be put to work. They who cannot be risen by persuasion may be aroused by less scrupulous masters who make slaves of them. But you got to finish reading through there because we know that's a full cycle as well. So if you get caught up in that and you become a slave, there will be deliverance for you, right? But it's going to probably take some time because you should follow earlier higher light that came to you. Okay. Back to page 668. I'll read verse 27 again. Was that 27? Is that 27? Where's the reference number? Okay, well, let me just go to 26. No man knoweth the Creator unless he hath proven the communication of spirits. Neither can any man rise to the second resurrection till he hath risen to faith in the all one Jehovah. Neither shall the Brahmin, nor Mohammedan, nor Buddhist, nor Christian join in the second resurrection on earth or in heaven. Okay, that's where I see it now. For they have not the doctrine of unity. They are as a house divided against itself. Their colonies and communities shall fail in all cases. We can even see that within the whole Christian community. You got the Protestants, you got the non-denominational, you got the Baptists, you got the Catholics. I mean, everybody, all these different ones, right? Yep, Catholics fall in there too. For they have not the doctrine of unity. They are as a house divided against itself. Their colonies and communities shall fail in all cases. There shall be but one doctrine, which is Jehovah, the all-person who is ever present, with good works done unto others, with all of one's wisdom and strength. And this shall prevail with the young, whom as orphans and castaways ye shall gather up in infancy, founding them in the light of Jehovah, teaching them from the start to sing and pray unto him in reverence and fear and joy, that he may be glorified in their purity and good works. And they shall grow up of all nationalities and races, not knowing this is mine, or that is mine, or that this is thine, but understanding that they own nothing and that all things are Jehovah's. All right, beautiful people. And that is where we will pause at today. I know this was really long. We already at the 2-hour mark, but it was good, y'all. Like I said, if I go too long and y'all got to get to work, go to work. I'm recorded. You can come back later. But if you can whistle while you work, you have the ability, and it's okay that you can listen while you work, then listen on, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me put my page number. Let me hurry up because I said it was something else. Let me put this right here. 668. And we're gonna go back real quick, like I said, and we're gonna read this about the subjective and objective on page 195. It's chapter 21 of the book of Fragapati, son of Jehovah. After Fragapati had examined the places of Asaph's and of the physicians and such other places as belonging in the lower heavens, he descended to Hachodawa, the land of delusion, the happy hunting ground, in order to witness the games and tournaments which were so far maintained by a great expenditure of labor on the part of the Etherians for teaching by subjective illustrations. Jehovah said, as mortal children can be taught by objective illustration, so have I created my S-worlds capable of a similar process subjectively. My rules are not man's rules, nor are my worlds illustrated as man illustrateth. Behold, my rainbow, which is a subjective illustration to mortals of a bulb. Hey, y'all, close that door. My rules are not man's. We're at the top. Remember, we're at the top portion because the pages are split. Go to the top, chapter 21 or XXI. That's 21. Verse 2. As mortal children can be taught by objective illustration, so have I created my S-worlds capable of a similar process subjectively. My rules are not man's rules, nor my worlds illustrated as man illustrateth. Behold, my rainbow, which is a subjective illustration to mortals of a bow without the substance of a bow. But a man bendeth a stick and saith, Behold, a bow, and he holdeth it in his hand, but mine he cannot touch. I gave to mortals to teach to their sons and daughters many combinations by the use of objects, that they should know a circle, a square, a triangle, or learn to compute numbers by the use of objects. Inversely, in the same way, I created subjective means for the spirits of the dead, that they might be taught and amused with my works. To corporeans, I give corporal eyes and corporal ears, that they might attain to wisdom on the earth. But to a few, I give suis, that they may see and hear things spiritually. Right? We test that information. We got eyes we can see, we got ears we can hear. We definitely know, those of us who have spirits, who have the ability to see and hear, we know that's true too, right? Testing of the validity of the information we reading within the book, right? Guys, go through there, because y'all too loud, and keep them quiet. To corporeans, I give corporal eyes and corporal ears, that they might attain to wisdom on the earth. But to a few, I give suis, that they may see and hear things spiritually. To the spirits of mortals who die in infancy, I give spiritual eyes and spiritual ears. But without cultivation, they hear not corporal things, nor see corporal things. But to such spirits as have fulfilled an earth life, I created them to see and hear after death the matters of both worlds, right? So they're saying babies who die in infancy, if they haven't had a chance to develop their eyesight and their hearing and all that stuff, they haven't learned how to tune to the frequency of the earth, whereby they don't understand. Which is why, if you ever had an experience like this, where it seemed like some spirits don't understand, right? That's a good indication that they were one of the ones who died in infancy that didn't get a chance to develop this part of their life, right? But remember, being born here into the earth is the first phase of our spiritual life and growth, right? I'll read it again. To the spirits of mortals who die in infancy, I give spiritual eyes and spiritual ears, but without cultivation, they cannot hear. They hear not corporal things, nor see corporal things. But to such spirits as have fulfilled an earth life, I created them to see and hear after death the matters of both worlds, right? So you don't lose anything that you learn here when you turn your flesh back over to the dirt. Nevertheless, there are many spirits in heaven who have not fulfilled either a spiritual or a corporal life, and they can see but little and hear but little, for which reason I commanded that they should be called Druhas, signifying spirits of darkness. Church calls them demons. And I sent my gods and my lords, saying to them, Go ye to the spirits of darkness, for they neither see nor hear heaven nor earth, and are wandering about indifferent, even to their own nakedness. And ye shall create mirrors and lenses and optical illusions and delusions, and provide games and entertainments for them, so that their understanding may be opened up for the glory of my kingdoms. Same thing we're doing here with movies, TV shows. I use them as examples all the time to help us understand spiritual principles, right? So we can understand it at the lowest level. I use Marvel all the time. Marvel is absolutely wonderful. We use it to explain spiritual things, because I'm of the mindset that they've read Oahspe. I really am. The people who are creating different things, because there are some things, like people think it's good entertainment. I was like, I know I read that in Oahspe, at least from what I've read so far, because I'm almost done reading it for the first time. And just different things, and even things I found in apocryphal documents and all that stuff. Listen, they read this more than what we do, and then they flaunt the information in front of your face in TV shows and series and movies on a big screen. To this, I read 5 again. To the spirits of mortals who die in infancy, I give spiritual eyes and spiritual ears, but without cultivation, they hear not corporal things, nor see corporal things. But to such spirits as have fulfilled an earth life, I created them to see and hear after death the matters of both worlds. Nevertheless, there are many spirits in heaven who have not fulfilled either a spiritual or corporal life, and they can see but little and hear but little, for which reason I commanded that they should be called Druhas, signifying spirits of darkness. And I sent my gods and my lords, saying to them, Go ye to the spirits of darkness, for they neither see nor hear heaven nor earth, and are wandering about indifferently, even to their own nakedness. And ye shall create mirrors and lenses and optical illusions and delusions, and provide games and entertainments for them, so that their understanding may be opened up for the glory of my kingdoms. When the Avalanza arrived at Hachidawa, it was lowered and made as an observatory in order to witness what was going on, and yet so provided that it could be moved about from place to place. And they witnessed the heavenly tournaments and games, the boating and fishing and hunting, and all other entertainments representative of what these angels had been engaged at in mortal life. And yet these things were but subjective and not real. But it came to pass that many Druhas were restored to memory of earth life, restored to seeing and hearing, and in fact, to know they had entered another world, illustrating to their dull senses that it was possible for them to learn to see things and to hear things understandingly. Nevertheless, there were within these regions hundreds of millions of angels so stupid as to be void of form and expression. Some of y'all got some dumb angels talking to y'all. No disrespect in any kind of way, but I'm just saying it is what it is. Jehovah has said, When a man has fainted, thou shalt arouse him by calling his memory to things past. And when the Druge in heaven hath seen who he is, in his place also, thou shalt show him symbols of things past, and thus awake him. Jehovah had said, Behold, O man, thou art the chiefest glory of my creations. Neither created I any animal that walketh on land, or flieth in the air, or swimmeth in the water, or that crawleth on its belly, with desire for spiritual life, nor with capacity to accumulate spiritually. But to thee only, O man, have I given power to aggregate the spiritual entity. For my animals I bestowed like a vessel that is full of water. No more can be put into them. And also, when the vessel is destroyed, the water runneth back to the ocean. I quicken them into life by my own hand. But when I take away my hand, lo, they are going back into dissolution. As a drop of water hath no power before the sun, but evaporateth and is seen no more, so is the spirit of all the animals I created before the light of my countenance. But to thee, O man, I gave power for everlasting life. Nevertheless, as a man may take a drop of water and put it in a vial and keep it for a long time, so have I given to my exalted angels power to take the spirit of a fish or of an animal suddenly dead and reclothe it with the semblance of a body for a season, but yet it is only a subjective existence. And even as a man letteth a stone out of his hand and it falleth to the ground, so when my angels let go their hands on my spiritual animals, their spirits fall into the sea of my body and are seen no more. Even so, also, but in less degree, created I the trees, the grass, the moss, and all vegetable things that grow on the face of the earth. And I gave to my exalted angels power to take the spirit out of a tree or a bush or a plant and to carry it away and reclothe it with corporal substance. But to my exalted gods, I gave power to do the same things, not with one plant only, but with whole forests, and with animals, and with fish and serpents. And when they do these things in atmosphere, They are called subjective heavens. Wherefore it came to pass in the ancient days that when spirits of darkness returned to mortals, they told them that heaven was like unto the earth, with everlasting life unto all animals as well as to man. Turn not away from such spirits, O man, but learn from them, that thou mayest not tarry long in my bound heavens when thou becomest a spirit also. Right? So what they doing, they're using it as teaching instruments. So when you go to Hadar, that first resurrection, when you see this stuff, right, as above, so truly as above, so below, those things aren't real, right? They're literally doing this to teach there, like what it just said. But I'm gonna read it again. Wherefore it came to pass in the ancient days that when spirits of darkness returned to mortals, they told them that heaven was like unto the earth, with everlasting life unto all animals as well as to man. Turn not away from such spirits, O man, but learn from them, that thou mayest not tarry long in my bound heavens when thou becomest a spirit also. So you should be passing right through that first resurrection, not lingering around. Learn, because you'll learn most of that while you're here and you still have your flesh, right? 18. Listen to this, my animal eating friends. For if thou settest thy soul to feed on animals and to dwell with them, the gods cannot deliver thee to my emancipated heavens, till thou hast served thy time in the lower heavens. One great light have I bestowed unto all men, that they may progress forever, right? So if you eating animals, people, you're going to be stuck there with them. You should not be eating them. It literally makes your spirit heavy. If you can see it, you would literally see your spirit being made heavy, and you should be getting lighter and full of light. Eating flesh, eating other sentient beings, it darkens your spirit and it weighs it down. You can't rise. Light can't get in. You become completely dense, right? In more ways than one. For if thou settest thy soul to feed on animals and to dwell with them, the gods cannot deliver thee to my emancipated heavens, till thou hast served thy time in the lower heavens. One great light have I bestowed unto all men, that they may progress forever. Though the waters of the ocean rise up and make clouds, and the clouds fall down as rain and run to the rivers, and thence back into the ocean 1,000 times, 10,000s of times, yet that water hath not progressed. Neither have I given progress to a stone, nor to a tree, nor to an animal, but to man only have I given progress. Be wise, O man, and not tie thyself to things that progress not, nor set thy soul upon them, lest they become a bondage to thee in the next world. But for the drooks I have created heavens, midway betwixt light and darkness, subjective and objective, that they may be redeemed, right? So if you pass there that way, you still got some time to be redeemed. You can be fixed, right? There's always healing with the Creator. There's always ways to freedom. He provides multiple ways to free yourself to get to Him, right? Verse 20, page 197. Fragapati also visited the Washa Wow Wow, the great hunting fields, and the place of the tournaments, the Sakatosi, where thousands and tens of thousands of Druhas were being amused. Okay, take it back. Fragapati also visited the Washa Wow Wow, the great hunting fields, and the place of tournaments, the Sakatosi, where thousands and tens of thousands of Druhas were being amused and instructed and awakened to their condition and to their possibilities. And when Fragapati and his hosts had seen the beauty and grandeur of this lowest of heavens and made a record of the affairs, Yatanti said, "Now have I shown thee, O Fragapati, the foundation of a great house, even my kingdom, which is Jehovah's. I am at thy service to go whithersoever thou mayest desire." Then spake Fragapati, saying, "I desire to descend beneath, even to the earth's surface, and survey the plains and rivers and lakes and the regions where the Father's kingdom will be founded. Let my mathematicians compute the time, and these things shall also be recorded in the Ethereum libraries for the benefit of the angels of that day. The mathematicians computed the time, and then Yo-Si-Putu, the chief, said 8,900 years. So Fragapati caused the avalanche to be lowered down to the earth's surface, and he coursed the land over east, west, north, and south. And when he saw it was a fair country as to land and water, he said, "Behold the wisdom of Jehovah in the foundation and plans for inhabiting and subduing the earth, and yet 8,900 years. Oh, what innumerable millions on the earth will go down in darkness ere that day. Here the light will fall, here the beginning of the death of Saphas, yet thy hand, O Jehovah, is over all." And there is a reference letter H here for this. So since we're reading it and we came across it again, let's go to the end of the book of Fragapati to see what this is. This reference, which is found on, nope, it's Book of Divinity. I love that book too. Okay, page 236. Okay, 8,900 years. Reference letter H on page 236 says, the Ark of Fragapati endured 3,100 years. The text relates to the Ark of Spencer Armige. The text relates that the Ark of Spencer Armige was 2,400 years and the Ark of Lika was 3,400 years. The total is therefore 8,900 years, bringing the projection of time down to the dawn of Cosmos, which is where we're at. We're in the first arc cycle of Cosmos. All right, beautiful people. I know it is one of my, at first when I came across, I'm like, Fragapati. Even y'all remember the video, my husband, he said, Fragapati, are you sure you're saying that right? It was all fun and games for a few days. And I'm like, yo, the book of Fragapati is that book. Fragapati was that dude. I'm like, yo, him, Osire, hands down, you got to read it. If you ain't read it, look, when we get done reading this the first time, we're going to start over from the beginning and we're going to read through it a second time with some understanding. And I'll be bringing in some references. Now I know a little bit and I've been researching stuff, just like what we did with the Bible. We was reading through the Bible. We read it through all them years. Then I started bringing in extra biblical text, the resources, kind of bringing some things. So like we're going to do the same thing here, bringing in outside resources, the NASA resource, like all this stuff. I'm super excited about this, right? Because we got to prove it, right? We got to prove and we got to test the information, right? That's incumbent upon us to do, right? We're going to keep what's good. We're going to burn what's bad. Now, I so far can't say that I found anything that I need to burn from this. I can honestly say that, right? But we ain't done yet. Not saying that we're going to find something we need to burn, but everything can be applied somewhere, right? Or it's history letting us know what has happened, gives us a better understanding of what has taken place and some of the stuff we can see in the Bible, right? Okay, so that is it. Let me put, what was that, chapter 21? I'll put this as a reference for today too. Chapter 21. Just in case somebody go looking for chapter 21, book of Fragapati. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and end. Wait a minute. Before we end, because I said I was going to share something else with y'all. This is so long today, but I got to share it with you, right? And this came, if you was here when I first started the video, I was just telling you on the Sabbath when I was just in a time of prayer, just thinking about the Creator and just thinking about more words to describe Him, right? I just started writing down. So the ones that I was getting, I got my notebook, which is why, like I had to go get my notebook. Last night, I got it. I'm about to explain to you what happened, right? I'm like, you know what? I think I'm in tune. I think I'm in tune, right? Look, and it's about to be a play on words. Okay, hold on. Let me end this. Then I will get the praise, and then I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna read you a little piece of the little snippet, right? It be blowing my mind every day, Hannah. Look, sis. Okay, look. I really do be having to calm myself down because like we got a business and sometimes I be like, oh, that I can sit here in your presence all day. This is so good. And my husband like, Pam, why you not at the warehouse yet? I'm like, I'm sorry, babe. I'm like, Father, I really need to get my time down, right? Because I got to operate in both worlds. I just can't be up in the clouds all the time, right? And so, my husband cool, because we talk about the Creator, and I love it because his heart is so soft towards the Creator, to where when he begins to talk about his goodness towards us, he just got to pause and like walk away, because he's trying to pull himself together, because he begins to weep before the fire. That's a precious thing, right? To know that your heart is pliable, especially a brother. The heart is pliable before the Creator, and he can actually speak to you. Okay, listen. Okay, y'all, it's Wednesday, September the 28th, 2022. Day 224 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets. Another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1242. Today, we started the book of Judgment in Oahspe, and we read pages 665 through 668. And we also just read chapter 21 in the book of Patty. Like I said, I go back and get that page number. What page was just on? I know I just said it. Hold on. Spencer Armitage, Divinity. Hold on. Let me get it. Okay. Patty. Chapter 21, page 195. Thank you. From page 195. Yep. Page 195 to 198. Remember, I always put in the description on Facebook and YouTube what we read, just in case, you don't get the Roman numerals right, which I don't all the time. Clearly, y'all saw that the other day. I'm calling out the wrong chapter numbers. But anyway, I always put the page number so you can go back if you don't have time to find it through the video. What are y'all doing? Girls, stop it. Quit that screaming. You know what? They wake up in the morning, the girls wake up and see each other just like, and start screaming like, what are y'all screaming for first thing in the morning? When they see each other, they just run screaming. I'm like, why do they do this? Why do they do this? Because I'm like, girl, yes, y'all moving into y'all house today. Alicia, I'm sorry. I know you. I ain't trying to put y'all out, but oh my gosh, she had all girls. We got all boys except for Bella, right? And Bella just links right up with her sister and her cousins, and they scream all day long. Oh, I'm over it. Okay, so when we started this, I said, Father, you are sound. And the sound that I referred to at the beginning was like nothing missing, nothing broken, complete judgment, complete, full, through and through. Judgment is always perfect. Even when we can't see it through, when we get to the end of the matter, we see that the Creator has always been sound in everything, right? And so at the end of this, I want to say, Father, you are sound. The ultimate keynote that resonates through our spirit that we connect to. You are the greatest sound, reproducing sound just like you here in the earth. Now, let me tell you what happened with this word sound. The other day, so like I said, on Sabbath, I'm sitting here, I'm like, sound. I'm like, yeah, that's right. So I started looking up the definitions. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You are fully true and true, through and through, the complete definition of sound on all levels of sound. Whatever definition for sound, you are there, right? Listen. So a few days ago, because I watched Malachi Maccabee channel and everything. You know how long he's been preaching on the Essenes gospel and everything. And I'm ashamed to say that I have not had a copy of the Essenes gospel. Like, I'll go online and stuff. So I'm like, you know what? This is one book I have not added to my library. So I decided to order it. I ordered it, right? And I got the Essenes Gospel of Peace. And I got the complete 4 books in one volume. So, sometimes when I get books, I don't start them right away. I'll just get them. I'll go to the table of contents. I read the back, inside, cover, front, and back. And then if I want to start it now, I'll start it. And then I'll just put it and I add it in the queue with the rest of the books I'm going to get to eventually, right? Look, so I open up this. I said, yeah, let me look at some of this. So I went and I read something and it said like the volume for here's what really made me buy it, right? Because I'm a little nosy. And the gentleman I didn't research the guy who translated this one. Edmund Bordeaux says Keeley. I think that or whatever is how you say his name, but if I messed it up, I'm sorry. The 3rd century Aramaic manuscript and Old Slavonic text, compared, edited, and translated by Edmund Bordeaux says Keeley, right? I read a little bit about him, and he had access to the Vatican, right? So a lot of his translations he got from the translations that were being held in the Vatican, right? And so this 4th volume, he said, I guess he told his protege that when he passed, where did I read that at in here? Hold on. Because this completely blew my mind last night, right? The Creator talks to me in all things, right? I've learned to hear him speak in a lot of things. Okay, so right here on page 257, it says, this book 4, the teachings of the elect, right? Because I'm looking through the table of contents, I'm like, teachings of the elect. Let me see, let me test the information. Look, he said, hold on. Let me read this. Okay. Book 4, the teachings of the elect, will come as a surprise to those readers who are aware of Dr. Keeley's death in 1979. I was born in 1979. If I were also a philologist, if I were also a philologist or scholar or archaeologist, I might be able to provide some explanation, but I am only his faithful Thalmus Amanuensis, and the instructions he left me were clear and explicit. 2 years after my death, you shall publish book 4 of the Essene Gospel of Peace. That was all, and I am now carrying out his wish. This book 4, the teachings of the elect, represents yet another fragment of the complete manuscript which exists in Aramaic in the secret archives of the Vatican and in Old Slavonic in the Royal Library of the Habsburgs, now the property of the Austrian government. As to the reason for the delay in its publication, I can only surmise that Dr. Keeley wanted the vivid reality of these ageless truths to stand alone, unobscured even by the presence of the translator. He did say in his preface to the first London edition of Book 1 in 1937 that we have issued this part before the rest because it is the part of which suffering humanity has most need today. Perhaps in the same way, the troubled world of 44 years later needs this 4th volume of the Essene Gospel of Peace. Again, the words of Dr. Keeley, quote, "We have nothing to add to this text. It speaks for itself. The reader who studies the pages that follow with concentration will feel the eternal validity and powerful evidence of these profound truths which make mankind needs today more urgently than ever before, and the truth shall bear witness of itself." Norma Nielsen, Bordeaux. Oahspe, Costa Rica, 1981. Listen to this. So that made me even more interested in hopping to the back of the book to see something, right? So I'm skimming, okay, like they're seeing communications. So I'm just kind of skimming through and the gift of the life and the humble grass. But what my eyes landed on was the holy streams, right? So the holy streams immediately got my attention because I'm thinking about Oahspe and the lines of light, right? We learned about the lines of light being connected to the person in the flesh, right? They're getting communication through the lines of light connected all the way back to the Father's throne with the angels who align with the Father, in tune with the Creator. They put a hand on your shoulder. You can't see it, but they're there, right? If your eyes were open, you could see the angels in the line of light, right? Connected all the way back to the Creator. But anyway, so I'm like, holy streams, okay, all right. So I started reading it, right? And mind you, before this book came last night, the Sabbath day, I was sitting there in praise and meditation and just writing out just different words that were coming to me. And I was thinking about some, but then I heard sound, right? I'm like, sound? I'm just like randomly sound, right? Like, yeah, I hear sounds, but then I just heard it again, sound. I'm like, okay. And that's when I pulled up the definition, sound. I was like, oh, yeah, Father, you are this in every sense of the word. We're going to use this on Wednesday, right? Because I had already filled up the other couple days, like with essential, quintessential, and stuff like that. So I will put sound on Wednesday. All this was already written in my notebook, right? So the book came a couple days later, right? And I open up the book, see this, then I see holy streams. I was drawn to this chapter, Holy Streams, on page 291. And as I'm going through here, lo and behold, guess what they start talking about? Page 292. I'm just like, you know what? You're so good to me. Always, you are so good. And when I'm learning stuff, you let me know if I'm on track or if I'm off by you confirming something or another, right? Because I was like, sound. Okay, sound. And I look up sound. I'm like, oh yeah, truly, you are the epitome of sound in every way you can describe what a sound is, right? Whether it be judgment or the tune that plays in my spirit every day when you wake me up, right? I'm like, oh, listen to this. I gotta read this. I know I said we were gonna leave a little while ago, but listen, hold on. I do because my husband called me now. Let me just read this real quick. We gotta go. Listen. Page 292. And when the sun is high in the heavens, then you shall seek the holy stream of sound. And I'm like, what? I'm like, holy stream of sound. I said, wait. I wrote this in my book. I ran downstairs, got my morning book that I keep all my stuff in. Sound was for today. This last night, I found this. I'm like, oh my gosh. Listen. And when the sun is high in the heavens, then you shall seek the holy stream of sound. In the heat of noontide, all creatures are still and seek the shade. The angels of the earthly mother are silent for a space. Then it is that you shall let into your ears the holy stream of sound. Now, just let me pause real quick, just in case you get thrown off by earthly mother. Remember, we talked about this way before, right? The earth can be considered a mother to us because those things that the earth produces, just like the milk we suckle from our mother's breast, nourishes us. The earth brings forth fruits that give life and nourish our body, that will restore us. It grows from the earth, from the ground. All that she produces heals us, nourishes us. So she can be considered our earthly mother, right? When we're in trouble with our bodies, go see mama. Go see mama. She got the healing remedy for everything, and she gives it to us liberally and freely, right? Listen. In the heat of noontide, all creatures are still and seek the shade. The angels of the earthly mother are silent for a space. Then it is that you shall let into your ears the holy stream of sound, for it can only be heard in the silence. Think on the streams that are born in the desert after a sudden storm, and the roaring sound of waters as they rush past. Truly, this is the voice of God, if you did but know it. For as it is written, in the beginning was the sound, and the sound was with God, and the sound was God. That sounds familiar, like what we read in Hebrews, right? About the word. The word was in the beginning. And the word is sound. If you speak it, it has to be a word, so it's sound. That's the same thing, right? I'm like, I'm listening. You got my ear, please. For as it was written, in the beginning was the sound, and the sound was with God, and the sound was God. I tell you truly, when we were born, we entered the world with the sound of God in our ears, even the singing of the vast chorus of the sky and the holy chant of the stars in their fixed rounds. It is the holy stream of sound that traverses the vault of the stars and crosses the endless kingdom of the heavenly Father. It is even in our ears. So do we hear it not? Listen for it. Then, in the silence of noontide, bathe in it and let the rhythm of the music of God beat in your ears until you are one with the holy stream of sound. The keynote, tuning yourself. We're talking about frequency. Yo, look, it was this sound which formed the earth and the world, and brought forth the mountains, and set the stars in their thrones of glory in the highest heavens. And you shall bathe in the stream of sound, and the music of its waters shall flow over you. For in the beginning of the times, so did we all share in the holy stream of sound that gave birth to all creation. And the mighty roaring of the stream of sound will fill your whole body, and you will tremble before its might. Then breathe deeply of the angel of air, and become the sound itself, that the holy stream of sound may carry you to the endless kingdom of the Heavenly Father, there where the rhythm of the world rises and falls. And I think we can pause right here, right? That is amazing. And then it gets into the holy stream of light, y'all. I'm just like, you know what? You can't make this type of stuff up to where you can, like, maybe that's not, I can't create these type of situations. That's better. I cannot orchestrate these type of situations. And I told you, I had never read, I mean, aside from like online little snippets or whatever, I had never really fully given myself to reading like this Scene's Gospel of Peace, right? It was on my list eventually, right? Because, you know, I hear good things about it, but I'm just like, bruh, like, how did I know what I did a few days before, and the word that I heard sound would come in the form of this? Like, I would be drawn. I wouldn't even been drawn to that chapter had I not already been reading Oahspe about the lines of light, right? I'm just like, the way this is orchestrated blows my mind on a daily basis. I am always forever mind blown when dealing with our Father. All right, y'all. So that is it. I love y'all. We gotta go. I know y'all done said a couple things.
Go in.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Set Apart. Her name is me, the earthly mother in Oahspe. Right. The earth is referred to as me. And it says that I remember that. Okay. All right, y'all. I love y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Who asked me to end it? You today? All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow
Just,
morning.
which one do you want to end?
7:15. I just realized what this
Darth
was.
Vader. Which one do you want to end?
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Get out of here, dark side. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow, bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Okay, get my phone.